an insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to accurately determine eligibility. Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google, and your business might be entitled to receive up to $26,000 per employee. Businesses of all types can qualify, including medical, professional, construction, even nonprofits. Please don't miss out on this. Even your doctor would tell you to get an expert second opinion, and we do a lot of work for doctors. Download the Innovation Refunds app now or go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of $26,000 per employee. Getrefunds.com. GetRefunds.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at SteelUSA.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't use. Honestly, I
you
don't.
can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't actually use that for you feed anymore. Because I just don't particularly like it.
But you said
actually, a lot of people are quite similar. I only look at
hang on a second.
my
You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and
then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
then I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
I know it's 12:07 in St. Louis, and it's not good to eat dessert before you have your lunch, but how sweet is that? It's so funny. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. I'm glad you're here with us today. Last night had a great event with the Vitae Foundation at the Plaza Frontenac. If you ever get an opportunity to go to one of these Vitae Foundation events that is for a fantastic cause, I highly encourage you to do that because they bring in some of the best speakers. Last night was Kevin Sorbo, Hercules. And what I didn't get a chance to kind of post game with you, Brad. You were there. What'd you think?
I think he's wonderful.
He's very directed to the point.
Like, he's direct, he's to the point, but he's soft-spoken, so it doesn't feel as like...
He's funny.
Yeah, he's got good jokes. He made us sing If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands.
Yeah, and then he turned it on his head, and it was like gut-wrenching.
I was like, oh. I found his story about his strokes to be...
I kind of remember that.
Fascinating.
In my real life, because Hercules as a show was such a big deal. And then he had these strokes, so yeah. They're great events. You've been to many of them, Brad, and they are always worth the time. So went from work yesterday, stayed here, did some work after the show, went straight to the Plaza Frontenac for the Vitae Foundation event, got home at about 10 o'clock, just in time to see the Cardinals pull off a win.
Good for them.
Yay. And Jordan Walker keeps the hitting streak alive. Get the kids from, some of them sleeping on the couch over here. Some kids, there are kids everywhere in my house. It's just the way it is. And my in-laws who are watching them go home and I sit down and I'm like, now I got to do some more work to get ready for the show tomorrow. So I watched Tucker because Donald Trump was on Tucker's show, and they had an interview which was mostly just Donald Trump talking and Tucker nodding his head. And as I'm watching, Tucker gets over, I watch that whole interview, and my habits right now are to go, I like to watch Tucker first, and I usually give Tucker Carlson 30 minutes of content time because I like to hear what he considers the most important thing and then see how he dips into other stuff. But sometimes he does some kitschy things in his show, and they're funny and they're entertaining, but I just don't have the time for it. I watch Laura Ingraham more now than I have in the past because she seems to be very hard-hitting on news, and she's very direct and straight to the point. And I like to watch Jesse Waters a lot. Jesse Waters does his show. I kind of feel somewhat kindred spirit to Jesse Waters in that what you expect to see on cable news in prime time, his show's called Jesse Waters Prime Time, he doesn't do what you anticipate from everyone else. There's just a little bit of more fun in it. At least he looks like he's having more fun. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, it's the Waters smirk.
Yes. He's super, I mean, I don't even know if he'd be offended if I said this. He's super confident. He might be super arrogant, but it's kind of his thing.
But but you can tell like that facial expression comes from like, I am having a really good time right now.
And I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm entertained by it. And you know, maybe depending on what Hannity has going on, I'll try to take that. But that's too, there's just so many minutes in the evening. And I'm getting into the second show, which is Laura Ingraham. I'm like 5 minutes in it, and I'm starting to scroll through Twitter because I'm multitasking here. And all of a sudden I see Elon Musk is doing a Twitter Spaces. And I'm all of a sudden seeing all these people tweeting about, and these are lots of people who I follow on Twitter and who some people who I have relationships with who have been on the show. I'm like, okay, this seems like it's a pretty big deal. Elon Musk is there, and he's being interviewed by BBC, and I think I'm going to listen to this. So I click listen, and so now I'm trying to listen to Elon Musk. This is this type of stuff that drives my husband absolutely crazy. He's like looking at me like, what are you doing? You can't possibly be listening to both things at the same time. I'm like, well, I'm not technically listening to both things at the same time, but I'm aware of what's going on in both places, and I will tune and push my attention from one side to the other, which I completely understand. If he was listening to a hunting Spaces on Twitter, watching a fishing show, I would be like, this is the most annoying thing in the world. So my husband's kind of television, and I've said this before, but he watches shows with too much facial hair and not enough electricity. That's the type of TV that my husband, and it's going to pay off one day. After the EMP hits, I'm like, all of this time you've spent watching this kind of TV, please provide for our family with this knowledge that you've gained. So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to Elon Musk, and it's unbelievable. It's so raw. It's so real. And this BBC reporter who is stationed located in San Francisco, apparently that morning said, hey, Elon Musk, would you do an interview with me on Spaces? And Elon goes, sure. So he's got Elon Musk, like one of the most prolific names in the whole world, saying, yeah, I'll sit down with you. And the whole interview is going like this. This guy is like throwing bombs at Elon Musk, and he's going, oh, you've seen a lot more hate speech in your feed. Can you give me an example? And he literally can't give him an example, a singular one. Elon Musk, folks, this is the way. This is the way. Call it out. Say, yeah, I'll talk to you. BBC wants, I think Twitter had just altered its designation of BBC or something. I think there are maybe some hurt feelings.
State-funded media. So originally it was state affiliated.
Yeah.
Like, because the RT and some of the Chinese news organizations, they get those little gray letters down. State affiliated.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
Oh, state-funded.
State-affiliated media.
Politically
and so that's what
correct
they
way
put
to
up there.
say
It's like, well, technically it's not affiliated, but it is funded by the state. It's state-funded. And then they were miffed about that because they get their money from the TV licenses that are sold in Great Britain through the government.
Doesn't it matter doesn't it matter who's getting paid, by whom, and when somebody is getting paid in a specific way, what kind of content do they put out there in order to continue to be relevant? I think it hugely matters who's getting paid and what they're doing with their time that is being compensated for by fill in the blank here. So Elon Musk is having this interview with this BBC reporter. Is his name John Hampton? That's just off the top of my head. And as this is going on, there were that Twitter Spaces reached over at one point it said 3.3 million people had touched base with this Twitter Spaces event. And I don't know if the BBC reporter got the sense that this wasn't. It was jovial. Elon Musk isn't mean about it. He's just like, hey, why don't you give me an example? And the reporter goes, I can't give you an example. I haven't looked at it in a long time. Well, if you haven't looked at it in a long time, how do you know it's gotten more hateful? Well, I used to. And it's just a circular thing. But what Elon Musk is doing is participating in the exercise and letting the reporter make the point that 3.3 million people, a majority percentage of those individuals, know exactly what's going on there. This is the way. This is how you do it. Elon Musk wasn't like, hey, loser, hey, idiot, hey, jerk, and, going in on him. He was almost, there was giddiness in his voice while he was having this interview. And he was like, all right, what other questions do you have for me? He just kept asking for questions. And literally, this is the funniest part. I'm trying to imagine in my head what it would be like to be sitting down with Elon Musk for an interview that you scored that morning, and you're reaching over 3 million people. Elon Musk goes, well, you have any more questions? He's like, no, I think that I'm all out of questions. He goes, well, what about the people listening? Do they have any questions? And so he starts scrolling live on the Spaces through the replies to his tweet and kind of referencing those. And the reporter kept going, well, I'm out of questions, so I think I'm going to be done here. So he eventually gets up and leaves the interview, and Elon Musk is still on this Twitter Spaces taking questions from people who are participating in this event. The reporter left. He had nothing else he wanted to know from Elon Musk. What are you doing? I just hit my microphone. I'm so mad. What? Like, how do you walk away from that moment? How do you not have more questions? I mean, every time I'm limited in what I do here by amounts of time. If I have a 15-minute conversation with somebody, that is a really long radio interview. And my boss will say, Annie, that's too long. And I would say, oh, but I thought it was really good. And then he'll say, Annie, this is too long. And we go back and forth and it's circular, whatever. If you're in an unconfined space, how do you run out of questions? And how do you literally leave? The reporter left the conversation. And then Elon Musk is not, I don't even want to confine him to being an American hero. What Elon Musk is doing, one of the questions that he was asked last night is, if somebody came up to you right now and offered you $44 billion for Twitter, would you take it? And he goes, no. He goes, no. And Elon Musk goes, no. He goes, well, I guess it would depend on who it was. So Elon Musk, because he has a casual $44 billion to play with, is using Twitter to protect conversations like he just participated in with a BBC reporter that is espousing these sort of almost tropey characteristics that the left needs you to understand. This is how the world is. It just is. Don't ask questions. Don't ask for proof. In fact, if you ask for proof, then you are at the front of the line of being part of the problem. We talked yesterday a lot about Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney and Tyrus's comments, which we're going to speak to Tyrus tomorrow about his thoughts on this issue. I can't wait to have that discussion with him about Dylan Mulvaney. And he said he's wearing women face, and he related it to Rachel Dolezal and how people accused her of wearing blackface. She identified as black. She wasn't black. She identified as black and she wasn't black, and people had a problem with that. If you are somebody who comes out and does not acknowledge, Brad and I went back and forth on this, and we talked about it after the show, and we pretty much agree completely. We were redefining each other's points. But the idea that Dylan Mulvaney wants you to believe that Dylan is a woman is very important to Dylan. But you are under no obligation to subscribe to that line of thinking. You just don't have to in this country. You do not have to participate in that. You can be, and it's not black or white either. It's not all or nothing either. If you're somebody who, and this is kind of what I was saying yesterday, Listen, I have my personal beliefs about whether Dylan is a woman or not. I don't believe Dylan is a woman. I would, out of deference to Dylan, on a human level, refer to Dylan as a transgender woman. But I am not a transgender woman. A transgender woman is different than what I am. Biologically, scientifically different. If Dylan wants to be referred to as a woman, I ain't buying that. I'm not playing that. I'm not doing that. But Dylan is a transgender woman. Okay, whatever that means, fine. Dylan's wants and desires for me mean nothing. Like nothing. He doesn't, or she doesn't, get to do that. I am not required to participate in that reality. And they are allowed and probably even encouraged to be disgusted by me, about me, for whatever purposes they need to, and then I have the opportunity to choose to care or not, and I don't. It was my Joe Biden for the day, my Joe Biden impersonation. I don't care. Is it creepy when anybody whispers into the microphone? I feel like it kind of is.
Yeah, I could probably creep a bunch of people out right now. I'm not going to do it.
No, don't. I'm the only one in the room with you. No whispering. I won't do it anymore either. Scout's honor. We don't have to participate in a reality that is being forced upon us, just like the BBC reporter was forcing upon Elon Musk. Like, how brave and bold do you have to be to ask for an interview in the morning, get granted the interview to come speak face-to-face with Elon Musk, run out of questions, but one of the questions are, essentially, I'm boiling it down and simplifying, why did you make Twitter such a hateful place? And he's like, can you just provide me an example? And the reporter's like, no, I can't. Sorry. It's just not off the top of my head. It's so bad out there that you are going to use this finite amount of opportunity and space that somebody like me, little old me in St. Louis, Missouri, would just love to have the opportunity to ask Elon Musk some questions. You're going to take the opportunity to use that time to ask that question. And when he asks you one follow-up, give me an example. You got nothing? Folks, put the pin in the balloon. And do it the way Elon did it. Don't do it in a combative way. Just do it in an inquisitive way. Because 3.3 million plus people last night were able to consume that. And I think it matters. I think there's something to that. And I hate to say it's going to take people like Elon Musk with the stature of Elon Musk. Bill Maher is another one. There are people out there right now who are calling into the spotlight, calling the monsters out of the closets across the country, opening the closet doors. And guess what? There's no monster. Open the doors. Put the truth out there. Truth. Not your truth, not my truth, the truth. Joe Concha is somebody who does this on a regular basis, and we're going to talk to him about that when we come back. Stick around. A lot of Annie Frey show ahead. We've asked this question on our YouTube poll frequently. I hope you didn't do it while I was on my break. Nope. Okay. Confirmation that this wasn't just asked. What is the biggest threat currently to the United States? Is it an economic collapse? Is it global threats? Is it cultural degradation? Or is it something else? And if it's something else, you can vote something else and put it in the comments there. Join us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Listen to us and stream us on the Odyssey app. Find 97.1 FM Talk on the AUDACY Odyssey app. Anywhere you go, you can stream the station. We'll be back with Joe Concha in a minute.
I just don't want to miss you tonight. And I don't want the world.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I just want you to know who I am.
RulerFoods.com is where you go to find the Ruler Foods closest to you, but maybe you already know, and maybe you've driven past it and you're like, oh, that's the place that Annie talks about all the time. Go inside. If you've heard me talk about Ruler Foods and how you can save money, and you know where their one is, then go inside. Do it for me and let me know about your experience. I love shopping at Ruler Foods. I love the opportunity to fill my pantry, my refrigerator, my freezer with affordable groceries in a time where everywhere else I go, things are way less affordable. the savings that you will be able to acquire when you're at Ruler Foods will be shocking to you. There are some goods there that the prices are so low, I can't even really highlight them on the radio. When you are looking to save money on groceries, this is a regular expense that you have, the amount of savings you can have will build up and up and up. For right now, Hunt's pasta sauce and Kroger pasta, 10 for 10. Big K 2 liters, 10 for 10. Banquet pot pies, 10 for 10. Kroger peanut butter, 10 for 10. Who needs 10 things of peanut butter? I guess you just stock up if it's $1 a pop. Snack pack pudding, 10 for 10. Awesome ways to save. Lots of other ways for produce and meat. It's all there at Ruler Foods. Find the one nearest you and go in to the Ruler Foods. Do it for me. RulerFoods.com.
If you want to see better in the new year, there's no better time to call Brenton Vision than right now. Mark Cox here. My friends at Brenton have everything you need to get the crisp, clear vision you've always wanted. Call them at 314-375-2020 or go online today to brentonvision.com. They are the only team in Missouri to perform all 7 FDA-approved forms of vision correction. That includes modern LASIK, permanent contact lenses, and if you have bad reading vision, they even have treatments for you too. So stop throwing your money away. My wife got lens replacement. She sees perfectly these days, and she loves it. Quit putting it off. If it's standing in your way of achieving your goals and your resolutions, Brenton Vision is here to help. Call them today at 314-375-2020. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. That's 314-375-2020 or schedule right now at brentonvision.com.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, this is Terry Hall, host of the popular radio show for veterans, Vet Time in America. Sundays at 12 noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Our show is all about veterans. We talk with experts. We help you get benefits, how to get more, and what to do if you're not getting what you deserve. Tune in on Sunday at noon. Join the conversation. We take calls. Vet Time in America. Tune in this Sunday at noon on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, business owners, are you feeling boxed in by the pressures of running your business, remote workforces, HR compliance, retaining top talent? And the list goes on. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30-plus years of HR experience to work, offering your employees competitive benefit options while lightening your HR load, so your employees and your business are set up for success. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Full-service HR, employee benefits, HR technology. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Are you thankful for the first responders in your community? Then nominate a local department and let us feed them a great meal. Compliments of Grill Master Tony Stone. Mark Cox here. Visit 971talk.com/contests and nominate someone today.
Oh, what you know, Joe?
I don't know nothing.
What you know, Joe?
This is the Annie Frey Show.
What you know, Joe?
Ain't conniving, just ain't
Follow
jiving.
Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
What you know, Joe?
Well, I don't know Latin.
What you know, Joe?
Ain't high-hatting.
What you know, Joe?
I ain't fooling. I need schooling. I don't know. I don't know.
This a fantastic event, one of my favorite of the year. I was just wondering, Mr. President, will you be taking part in the Easter egg rolls after 2024?
Well, I plan on at least 3 or 4 more Easter egg rolls.
At least 3 or 4 more?
Maybe 5.
Maybe 5?
maybe 6. So what the hell?
Are you saying that you would be taking part in our upcoming election in 2024?
Well, I'll either be rolling an egg or being the guy who's pushing them out.
Come on, help a brother out. Make some news for me.
I plan on running out, but we're not prepared to announce it yet.
All right.
So Joe Biden, it's pretty hard to escape that clip. I heard Colbert do his thing, and if you were listening to Kill Me Before Us, you probably heard him play it a couple times. But Joe Biden is not in a position right now to apparently announce that he's running. Why is it that he's not in a position to run? When you listen to Donald Trump last night talk about this.
The Biden people know the power of nuclear weapons. They now control our arsenal. They don't seem worried about this.
That's because they don't understand life. They don't understand whatever it is that you have to understand.
Donald Trump was talking last night about the likelihood of a Joe Biden re-election bid, of the idea that Joe Biden would be saying, yeah, I'm up for it. Why hasn't he bid yet? And Donald Trump doesn't think that he's up for it at all.
Answer today on television about whether or not he was going to run, to a very nice guy named Al Roker. When you can't get a softer question than that. That was a long answer of talking about the eggs and the this and that. Look, I don't think he can.
Donald Trump doesn't believe that Joe Biden actually physically can. I don't know that the Democrats believed that Joe Biden in 2020 could physically stand the test of being the president of the United States. I don't necessarily believe that they thought he could. In fact, I think that they were so protective of that thought that he wouldn't be able to handle it that they took advantage of COVID and said, "Oh, they made the whole issue behind the 2020 election, Brad. When you think about how the left campaigned and how the right campaigned, the righteous indignation from the left about what people were going to responsibly do in their lives, they manifested that all through their physical appearances when they would go places, masks, isolation. Do you remember the circles? They had like 10 circles at Joe Biden events, and they put
yes.
Why did there have to be circles?
Like it was a circle, like they would put a chair in the middle of the circle.
Yes.
And they would be outside, or they would have the car.
You know what they should have done? When they had the president walking out and they're playing music and stuff, when the president's walking out, they should have taken one chair away and stopped the music. See who doesn't get you got to stand in your circle. Why didn't they do that?
Musical chairs. Because it'd probably be Joe's chair that got taken away.
That'd be a funny SNL skit.
Yeah. Every so often he just stops his speech and everybody has to get up and walk.
Yeah. I just look at this race the way it's shaping up to be, and Donald Trump looks like, at this point in time, 573 days. 573 days away from the 2024 election. It looks like, on the surface, it's going to be Joe Biden versus Donald Trump until it isn't. Like, that's the election. Before anybody else gets in, Tim Scott announces that he's in the race today. You're going to have to unseat those people in order to do it.
Oh, what you know, Joe. Joe Concha, columnist for The Hill and Fox News contributor.
Joe Concha joins us, as we are always welcome to do. We love having you on the show, Joe. Welcome back. Donald Trump on with Tucker last night. Is he beatable in this Republican primary right now?
No.
Simple enough.
Yeah, I'll keep it boring. Look, I really thought, and we talked about this, that Ron DeSantis had a very good shot if we had this conversation even 2 months ago, because he was the one with the momentum. He was gaining. You look at state polls in Iowa, New Hampshire, even Florida, which is Trump and DeSantis' home state, and DeSantis was beating him. And you still see polls where DeSantis is very competitive on a state-by-state basis, but then you look at the national polls, and you see Trump by 30, Trump by 32. And you say, what's going on here? And you're like, oh, right, I saw this movie. I saw this movie back in 2016 where you had 17 people running for the Republican nomination and 16 of them could not sniff a microphone if their life depended on it because all the oxygen went to Donald Trump, all the attention, good, bad, and ugly. And when that happens, it's going to be very hard for, I look at DeSantis now, and I just wonder, how is he going to overcome a media that has a very vested interest in keeping Donald Trump front and center from an ideological perspective because they don't like him. So if it's negative coverage around indictments and arraignments, whether it be in New York or Georgia or Mar-a-Lago, they're going to keep doing it, right? Because that's good for their business. But also, they do not like the fact that Donald Trump is Donald Trump. So, from a business perspective, ratings and clicks, and Donald Trump just being the guy who brings in, obviously, a lot of eyeballs, a lot of hate watching, unfortunately, but especially on the Democratic side, I don't see how DeSantis is able to gain the kind of momentum where he could draw a contrast between him and Donald Trump, because then if it goes back to policies, they're pretty much the same person.
Sure.
So then it's going to be the established brand that beats the up-and-comer is what I see now. But in 2 months from now, who knows, Annie? Maybe we're having another conversation.
No joke. Fox News contributor, political columnist at The Hill, Joe Concha with us right now. But Ron DeSantis isn't in the race yet. Maybe he doesn't get in.
I thought about that. Maybe he looks at this and says, oh, boy, if I end up being, and I wrote a column last week for The Hill, is Ron DeSantis the next Ronald Reagan or Scott Walker, right? Remember Scott Walker?
Yes, I do. First one out.
First one out. He was the front runner, right? Yeah. People forget this. He was beating Trump by like 15 points when Trump first entered the race. And then you never saw the guy again because he didn't have that electric personality. And I hate the fact that everything has to now come down to electric personalities and mean tweets and being provocative and, owning the libs or owning the cons, right? So, yeah, he was just a good, solid governor, but didn't have a lot of personality. And then you kind of see that with DeSantis and you say, that's a great, solid governor with more personality, but is it enough to grab the media's attention? And by the way, DeSantis gets hit by two fronts now, right? He gets hit by the Trump people and the Trump PACs, right? He's not ready, and you see the commercials all over Fox. And then obviously the national media hates him as much as they hate Trump. So where's the favorable press going to come from? It ain't. And that's why maybe it is better for him to wait until 2028, Annie. But, I remember Kennedy when he ran in 60, at least I studied this. I wasn't alive. But people are like, you're too young. You shouldn't run. Nixon's too polished. He's too experienced. And he says, you know what, if I wait 4 years, they're going to forget about me. And you wonder about that with Ron DeSantis. If this isn't his moment, just like it was with Chris Christie in 2012, you don't grab it when you should, then maybe you never have another opportunity. But I don't know. There's a lot of money behind him still, so maybe he still does run. But I think he sees more and more that this is going to be a bigger uphill challenge than anybody expected.
Yeah, I'm reminded by some people in my life who talk about how Ronald Reagan in 76 primaried Ford. Ford got the nomination. Ford didn't do so well after that. And then we kind of are in the same situation we are right now. I'm curious if you think that Donald Trump will do any changing whatsoever to try to make the tent broader, or if loyalty is the measure that he's going to put into this whole race to try to win the whole thing.
Loyalty. You just see it, right? You don't see any outreach in terms of what he did in 2016, which was so effective. I could speak to it from a media perspective. He guest hosted Saturday Night Live. All right. Can you imagine this happening now? He would go on Meet the Press with Chuck Todd. He'd sit down with ABC and David Muir. He'd go to CBS. He'd go on CNN, MSNBC. He was ubiquitous on, right? The guy was fearless. He will not do that now. It's a very risk-averse, very appeal to the core loyal base kind of campaign we've seen so far. And I think that's the way it's going to go. And I don't know if that's enough, because when he won in 2016, that was no blowout either, right? I mean, he won by very thin margins in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and that's what got him over the top. And he was able to appeal to blue-collar Democrats, suburban women, independents. I'm not so sure he gets those people. But then again, I'm not so sure if Joe Biden gets them either. So it's a hold-your-nose election for the most part. Like, okay, more about rooting and voting against the other guy than voting for your guy, right? It's not like, I love Bidenism. It's more like I can't have Trump. And same thing with Trump in terms of the way people feel about Biden.
Joe Biden says he's not ready to announce yet, but indicates that he is running again. You studied him. You have a book on it called Come On Man, The Truth About Joe Biden's Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Presidency. Where are you at on his re-election bid?
I think he doesn't like to work. I think that he's at an age now, as we could see in the way he walks, the way he talks. You look at his schedule on a daily basis, it's almost non-existent. He simply does not want to put in the hours that it takes to run for president. So why announce now is probably the thought process. When Donald Trump is front and center, like we've talked about before. And remember, this trial in Manhattan for this ridiculous indictment by Alvin Bragg, that doesn't happen until January, right? So Trump stays in the headlines. The Biden people like him when Joe Biden isn't the headline, isn't the interview. When was the last time somebody said, boy, that interview with Al Roker during the Easter egg roll didn't go well at all? It's the easiest interview you could do, and he even screwed that up. So I think he waits as long as he possibly can so we could repeat 2020, just don't do much. Then he goes in probably in the fall. He lets the Republicans fight it out for their nomination. No one's really going to challenge him seriously on his end, even though they probably could. And he gets the nomination again. But yeah, probably he'll wait till the fall before he has to do anything, because why bother?
You know, Joe, we have an announcement of an explorer. Has anybody ever launched a presidential exploratory committee and then not officially run for president?
No.
I mean, it's just like it's a fundraising step, I would assume. Tim Scott, Senator Tim Scott. I love Tim Scott. I listen when he speaks. I think he's a great senator. I think he's a great story. And I think he'll be a very great addition to the Republican primary bench. There's talks about, how successful he could be. And there's also Gavin Newsom, a lot of conversation around him. Do you think anybody gets in there and maybe throws a wrench in the whole thing?
I love the whole Gavin Newsom thing. Like, there's such momentum behind him. Jen Psaki last week. He's such a rock star. The biggest exodus of any state in the country, and this isn't even close, is out of California, right? And they're going to places like Florida and Texas. Los Angeles, San Francisco are the top two cities in terms of exodus. People want out of California because of the way Gavin Newsom governs it, and yet he is seen as the number two to Joe Biden if he doesn't run. I just find it remarkable. Why? Because he has nice hair. Okay, great. That's wonderful. As far as Tim Scott, I think it's the same problem DeSantis has. I think it's harder for Trump to attack Tim Scott because he is seen as such a nice guy. He is a guy who seems to genuinely care about the country, wants to work with the other side, do all those things. He's Reagan-esque, I think, on some level. But in the end, I think Tim Scott and Nikki Haley are your top two candidates for vice president when it all shakes out. Because, again, I just wonder if somebody like Tim Scott, who is a serious guy who wants to tackle serious problems, with our stupid media that doesn't reward that sort of stuff but only goes to the loudest voices in the room, it's going to be hard. It's just like it was in 2016 for the Ted Cruz's and Marco Rubio's of the world.
Last question for you. We're speaking with Joe Concha right now. The Democrats announced that they're going to have their convention in Chicago. I live in Southern Illinois. I am incredibly not surprised by this. And watching Chicago reelect Lori Lightfoot exponentially worse than Lori Lightfoot in Brandon Johnson. The Democrats want to say, Chicago, no, those are our people. I'm like, I know. Why? What am I missing here? Maybe you got the answer for me.
Well, when everybody was chanting, let's go, Brandon, I don't think they were talking about the guy who just won in Chicago. But sure enough, he wins.
There he is.
Nobody voted, by the way. I mean, Chicago's got millions of people, and he won with like 260,000 votes. I mean, you would think when your city's falling apart that some people might be a little bit motivated and say, all right, enough is enough. We got to do something about this crime problem. No, of course not. That doesn't happen. But to hold this in Chicago, you're going to see either flashbacks to 1968, where riots literally occurred at the Democratic National Convention, or, again, if we had an honest media, they would be talking about the backdrop. In other words, all right, this is being held in Chicago, but last night 17 people shot, 11 dead, right? It's just, you usually hold conventions in swing state capital cities, right? You go to Charlotte, North Carolina. You go to Tampa, Florida. You go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You don't go to Chicago where you got that state locked up.
I was just saying, you think the Democrats are making a play for Illinois? I like to hear this.
Yeah, they need those electoral votes. What, Sacramento wasn't available? I mean, it's a dumb move. And everything, I don't know, I keep going back to the same word. Everything's stupid now at this point. Stupid, Annie.
Isn't it frustrating to have to cover it sometimes? You have to make sense of it.
I just want common sense.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
It's so uncommon.
It is a foreign concept, and I just don't get why people aren't on board with don't spend money that you don't have, particularly when inflation is where it is. Maybe use our own energy instead of exporting it importing, I should say, from overseas. Maybe enforce crime on the books if you're a district attorney to keep criminals off the street so police don't have to keep arresting the same people over and over again and then they just resign because they're so frustrated. Maybe in education, with our test scores at a 30-year low, we concentrate on math and reading and writing and science instead of race and gender identification. I just want simple things, and we can't seem to get there because, again, I think Democrats get the freest of free passes from the media.
Yeah.
They serve at their pleasure, and that's the way it works. They're going to get away with all this because no one holds them accountable outside of Fox News and Annie Frey.
We will continue to use your voice on this show anytime you permit us. Thank you so much, Joe. Love speaking with you.
You too. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Joe Concha, political columnist at The Hill, and of course, a Fox News contributor. Go say hi to Joe on Twitter at Joe Concha TV, and he will be back with us again sometime soon. He says yes to us a lot. We really are grateful for that. His book is Come On Man, The Truth About Joe Biden's Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Presidency. And from what I understand, he's got a follow-up already in the mix. I can't imagine how many parts could be in this series. It's a gift that keeps on giving for one man, Joe Concha, who decided, I'm going to write a book about it. He did write the book about it. Let's take a quick break. More Annie Frey Show. When we come back, that YouTube poll. What is the biggest threat currently to the United States? Get on the YouTube channel, the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Vote, comment. Hannah's looking for those comments as they come through, and maybe we can feature some of them when we come back. Don't go away.
Fooling, I need schooling. I don't know. I don't know. Mama tried to tell me so.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
A movie show. So what you know, Joe?
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Ophthalmology Associates. My eye health is super important to me for a variety of reasons. About 30 years ago, I had an eye disease, and I almost had a retinal detachment, had surgery. Everything has been okay, but regular eye care has become important for me and has been for decades, and I only trust the best. And that's Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra at Ophthalmology Associates. They're here in St. Louis to take care of all of your vision needs. Maybe you have dry eye or your eyes itchy and scratchy. It might be more than just allergies. And Ophthalmology Associates is a leader in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. Let's talk LASIK. With modern LASIK procedures, more people can benefit, and LASIK can reduce or eliminate your need for contacts and glasses. Even if there's nothing going on in particular, annual eye health exams can prevent many kinds of eye and health problems, and they're typically covered by insurance. If you want excellent eye care, trust Ophthalmology Associates. It's a great office experience and staff. They're always on the leading edge of the latest technology. 12990 Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270, 314-966-5000. Online at youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Are you a people person looking to change careers? If so, the Metro Transit team would like to talk to you. You may qualify for a special $2,000 signing bonus if you become a Metro bus operator, Metro caller ride operator, or a Metrolink traction power electrician. We will be conducting on-site interviews this Saturday, April 15th at the Illinois Metro bus facility. The address is 801 North 47th Street in East St. Louis. Metro Transit offers good health and retirement benefits, so stop by the hiring event Saturday. You could receive a job offer on the spot.
Play ball!
Step up to the plate by donating your old car to Goodwill and get 4 box seats to a Cardinal game. Your car donation to Goodwill will help people right here in St. Louis. Donating is easy, towing is free, and you get a tax receipt. Plus, you'll get Cardinal tickets, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. Donate online at mersgoodwill.com. Must mention promo code Cardinals. Hurry while supplies last.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Underlaw, we take on the establishment and challenge corporations to be better for the safety of our community.
Call Underlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-9 million.
Who will dare to find a new way to think about energy? One that connects our lives like never before and creates a world where we can breathe easy. NewScale dared by making 24/7 carbon-free energy a reality with our Voyager SMR power plants. Let's see how bright the future can be when cleaner, safer energy is available to all. NewScale. Power to the world. Power for all humankind. Discover the future of energy at newscalepower.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Free speech has a home. 97.1 FM Talk.
Your home for conservative talk.
One of the only places where conservative ideas aren't shut out of the conversation.
This was all you, none of it me. You put your hands on my body and told me. You told me you were ready for the big one, for the big jump. I'd be your last love, everlasting, you and me. That was what you told me. I'm giving you up.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Leave this music going a little bit. We wanted Hannah to come in, but she had to go get her headphones. We won't play anything until you get your headphones on, except for this really, really great jam that you picked for the show.
Okay, now I'm ready.
How many people mentioned to you the headphones thing?
So many people. I was getting ice cream last week, and the guy who sold me my ice cream I was trying to give him my card, and he was like, I don't have my headphones on, I can't.
Were you like, why do you need headphones?
I know. I was like, headphone? I didn't know if he meant headset. I didn't know what he meant. But then he started laughing. He's like, you know. And I was like, oh.
That's awesome.
What, do you want to shout out the ice cream place?
The Malt Shop in Fenton, Missouri. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. And for me, thanks for teasing Hannah about the headphones. You're famous for that now, at least.
Yep. Me and my headphones.
Yeah. What's your Instagram account?
My Instagram is hannah.gibbs.
Gibbs.
Gibbs. Hannah.gibbs.
Are there Hannahs out there that aren't spelled with an H on the end?
Oh, yeah. A ton of them.
Of course there are.
You got to spell it with an H because then it's the same forwards and backwards.
Are there any that like start with a K or a J or something like that?
Probably now there is. Yeah. I wouldn't put it past it. Maybe
Johanna?
a
No, that's pronounced Hannah. So give me a break. You want to talk about the YouTube poll a little bit?
Yes. Today's YouTube live chat poll is asking, can one of you get that up? Because I don't have my sheet.
What is the biggest threat currently to the United States? And there are 4 options. The fourth is something else so that you can leave a comment and maybe fill in the blank if we forgot something massively and we get a lot of feedback. Sometimes that happens. The other options are, as far as the biggest threat to the United States, the economic collapse, global threats, culture, degradation, or something else.
A lot of people are saying all the above. That is not an option.
Not an option.
For a reason.
Biggest threat. One's got to eke out from the others.
All right. A few of the comments here. Karen from YouTube says, I believe global threat and economic threats are related with countries dropping the U.S. dollar. Amy says, I'm slowly moving away from economic collapse to global threats. It's a pendulum for me. Grant says that he voted for something else in the poll. He said the lack of leadership and
the bonehead.
I'm like, FCC? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
At the helm of our ailing country. Scooter says that he thinks the biggest threat to the U.S. is panic. That's interesting. Jackie S. says that
I kind of wish we'd panic a little bit more.
Well, we have good reason to be panicking. Yeah. Jackie S. says that our economy and the collapse of the dollar is our most immediate threat. The culture war is second to that.
Interesting. If you want to leave your comments or come in and tell us why you voted the way you did, you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We're at like we're approaching 5,400 subscribers.
Oh, yeah.
Brad, you were just saying the other day that like 10,000 subscribers is the magic number where YouTube starts going, okay, we're bringing people in here.
Yeah. It's like every research that I've done on it, every person that I've ever talked to about it, or any video that I've seen on it, they're like, it was like I hit 10,000 and then it was just off the rails from there.
This is what I want to say about why we invest so much in our YouTube presence. Because when I look at the metrics of who follows us on YouTube, our largest group is 25 to 34. That is not the age range that is listening to talk radio. If you were to look at our ratings and, when people observe radio ratings, there are publicly available radio ratings, but then there are also demographical breakdowns, persons, men, different age groups. Talk radio of all kinds is always going to skew older. If you're a 25 to 34-year-old male or female, you're not like the majority of those people are not like, oh, I wonder what's on talk radio today. It's just not happening. This is a way for us to reach a different audience that we don't reach as much on the radio, and then potentially bring them into the radio product, but also just get the opportunity to reach people and talk to people and have conversations that are more broad than most people are having on conservative talk radio. So YouTube is a very important part of that picture, and YouTube can suck from time to time. We can't change those rules. Some of it has changed, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my opinion, because of what Elon Musk has done, to kind of put a bow on this hour, with Twitter and what he's exposed to Twitter. I think that has had ramifications across social media broadly. But if you are somebody who has heard us talk about YouTube and you don't even know how to subscribe to a channel on YouTube, just seriously, even if you don't watch us, that subscriber number makes a big difference as to how many people YouTube will share us with. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would ask you, please, to consider going and subscribing to the Annie Frey, Frey, YouTube channel and helping us get to that benchmark of 10,000. We're not there. No. We are working
Hope to
on
be,
it.
though.
Very proud of the 5,300 and change that we have right now, and so grateful for the people who are there all the time. But if you haven't subscribed yet, even if you love the show but you don't consume us on YouTube, but you do have 3 minutes to go give us a subscription, I would be
means a lot.
Very grateful. So go and vote on the YouTube live chat poll. We do broadcast there every day live, and it's what is the biggest threat currently to the United States. Brad, do you have a dominant thought on this?
I have one that's the biggest. It's to me, it's cultural degradation. That's because everything is downstream from that. And we're so focused on that we're not able to spin all the plates, if that makes sense. So we're so focused on cultural issues that we miss global issues. I was mentioning to you off the break, you've got trains going off the rails. You've got several different large fires. You've got a war in Ukraine. There's all these different issues going on. These countries are losing the dollar. And we're worried about cultural issues. It takes our eye off the ball. And if we had strong morals, strong culture, then we wouldn't be worried about these things. We could be focusing on making America the country that it should be.
Great again.
The second you say that, I was like,
I don't know. How would you say it?
Yeah. Making America, it's like
awesome.
it's right there on the tip
Once
of my
more. But yeah, I don't even know how you, that doesn't, yeah. Janine says, everything hinges on the culture, so that's the most important. So she agrees with you. We want to know what you think. Come join us on the YouTube live and leave a comment, then join us back on the radio or on the Odyssey app. We'll be back with Deroy Murdock in a minute.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Do you hate standing on concrete floors because of foot, knee, or low back pain?
I couldn't stand on hard surfaces. The pain would get so severe that I couldn't stand it.
Tired of living in pain?
I wanted to take off my shoes as soon as I got home every day.
You need comfort in your life.
Now I have no foot pain and I can wear any dress shoe that I want.
Good Feet fits in all your shoes. Ladies, you can now be comfortable in your favorite high heels. Good Feet. No shots, no surgery, no medication.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Dearborn's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Here's something you won't hear from any other jeweler. Right now, when you buy a diamond at Diamonds Direct, we'll give you a free gold setting for it. Yes, a 14-karat classic solitaire setting in white gold or yellow gold at no charge with any natural diamond purchase. So all your money can go toward a bigger diamond while you still get the classic look she wants in that engagement ring. Another example of Diamonds Direct's extraordinary value. Or if you want to take it up to the next level, Diamonds Direct also has a fantastic selection of halo, pave, vintage, 3-stone, and other popular mountings. Or maybe she wants a designer ring, like the one she's seen on social media. Well, Diamonds Direct has those too. In fact, we are an authorized retailer for all the top designers from New York and California. Whichever setting you choose, you'll also be able to choose your finance plan. Diamonds Direct now has a wide range of finance options with attractive rates and terms up to 60 months, so you can get the ideal setting to fit your style with the ideal payment to fit your budget. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Store hours, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Stressing peace on the international stage. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. President Biden is urging Northern Ireland to hold the peace as political divisions threaten stability there.
25 years since the signing of the Good Friday Accord ended decades of sectarian violence, President Biden told a Belfast audience the enemies of peace cannot prevail.
By making this exceptional peace the birthright of every child in Northern Ireland for all the days to come.
At Ulster University, the president committed U.S. support to Northern Ireland and urged the government's leaders to solve complex problems arising in the aftermath of Brexit.
In times when things seem fragile or easily broken, that is when hope and hard work are needed the most.
Before the speech, President Biden met for tea with UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Consumer prices rose just 0.1% from February to March, down from 0.4% from January to February, and the smallest increase since December. Measured from a year earlier, prices were up just 5% in March. That's the smallest rise in nearly 2 years. South Carolina Republican Senator Tim Scott releasing a video today declaring a first step to become a candidate for the GOP presidential nomination.
I will never back down in defense of the conservative values that make America exceptional. And that's why I'm announcing my exploratory committee for president of the United States.
If he officially makes a run for president, he'd join a Republican field that includes former President Trump, former U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley, business owner Vivek Ramaswamy, and former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson. Prince Harry will attend next month's coronation of his father, King Charles III. Buckingham Palace says Harry's wife Meghan will remain in California. America is listening to Fox News.
I'd rather ride a bike with my kids than ride in an ambulance.
I'd rather have a catch with my dog Curtis than catch pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like heart disease, asthma, or diabetes, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20 pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Learn more at Prevnar20.com. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
No complaints with our top 10 weather continues this afternoon. Sunny skies, 78 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, beautiful for evening plans. Temperatures drop out of the 70s into the 60s. 49 for the overnight low. On Thursday, sunny skies, 79, 80 once again. Friday, partly sunny, 75. A couple of showers and thunder showers around Saturday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You found 97.1 FM Talk, where we ask questions, even when the legacy media won't. Especially when the legacy media won't.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us, that's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Under the Biden administration, we've seen time and time again their willingness to sell out the American economy and our natural interests just to comply with their Green New Deal dreams. And so it's a very good question because it is the CCP, not the American people, that stand to benefit from this latest EV mandate, because the electric vehicle batteries, the majority of the critical minerals that go into those batteries are owned by the Chinese Communist Party.
Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor. Deroy
Murdock. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We've got Deroy Murdock on the phone with us now. These new EPA car rules, the Joe Biden administration prioritizing the most important things facing the country right now. Deroy's here to talk to us about it. Welcome back. Good to have you. Hope you had a happy Easter.
I sure did, Annie. Hope you did as well.
Yes, I did. These kind of stories make me feel less happy. What do you think about the president's prioritized new restrictions and requirements when it comes to EV sales?
Well, a couple things. If he wants to get up and give speeches about how great electric vehicles are, wonderful. I'm not a big fan of subsidies, but that takes it one step further. But that's not good enough for these people. They're about mandates, prohibitions. There's a prohibitionist streak in the Democrat Party these days, which is they're not happy just telling you, look, here's our advice, please do this. Their idea is to take federal power and take things away. So no gas stoves, no air conditioners, and now no gas-powered cars. So they're not satisfied merely persuading; they engage in coercion, and this is where this gets disgusting to me. And then on top of that, you've got a lot of practical problems. Even if you think that this is a smart thing for the government to do, to take our freedoms from us and bark orders at us, you have huge problems such as come the year 2030, the mandate is for 54% of passenger vehicles to be electric vehicles, and then 2 years later in 2032 for the number to be 66%. Now, we're talking not 15, 20, 30 years down the line. We're talking about, in one case, 7 years, and in another case, 9 years. This is would involve a huge overhaul of our car companies, their assembly lines, their industrial processes, et cetera. And these people seem to think if you just wave a magic wand, all the beautiful things they want will happen. You don't take an industry that is based on the internal combustion engine and turn it that upside down that quickly without causing all kinds of problems, difficulties, distortions, et cetera.
I think about when anytime the left, or specifically Biden and his administration, come out with these initiatives, the way they're presented to the American people, they sound like they're very, environmentally conscientious, and they're focusing on improving, the way that we treat Earth and our effect on it. And then you get into the details about who benefits, who gets the opportunity to save if they were to invest in an electric vehicle, and how all of this structure is put up to try to promote what they're trying to get out there. And it is kind of a house of cards. The access to savings, and like you said, the subsidies, all the government money that goes into it is also paid for by the tax dollars. So you save on an electric vehicle, but your taxes are going to go up. And what at the end is the result? How much improvement is made on the environment, especially when China, they don't play, and they're the worst problem that we have on the planet.
Well, that's right. I mean, even if we do all this and I'm wrong and everybody gets electric vehicles and all works out beautifully, China and India are pumping out CO2 like crazy. So if your concern is the carbon dioxide is wrecking the atmosphere, we can be nice, clean, and proper, but we're keeping a nice, tidy, clean house. Then two houses at the end of the block are just collapsing with garbage out front and rats running across the front porch, et cetera. So the entire neighborhood's a mess. So this involves essentially a tremendous level of federally mandated self-sacrifice on the American people, us enjoying a decreasing standard of living, less comfort, less enjoyment of our lives, and all in order to save the planet, while at the same time the Chinese and India and others don't get the memo, and they continue to pollute. They're not even expected to pollute. We don't even lean on them to do this. I don't believe Biden's discussions with Xi Jinping say, hey, can you clean up your CO2 emissions? That doesn't seem to be part of the discussion at all. And so this stuff ultimately will involve us giving up a lot of our comfortable American lifestyles in exchange for little, if any, actual environmental benefit, and maybe zero, as a matter of fact.
We're speaking with Deroy Murdock. He's a nationally syndicated columnist. He's a Fox News contributor as well, weekly guest here on the Annie Frey Show. I wanted to shift a little bit here to the latest entry potential entry, I should say, into the Republican primary for president. The only way that this trajectory that we're on, with all of this investment and prioritizing of these environmental issues over some of the really, really impactful things happening to taxpayers, to citizens today in this country, is for the country to decide we want to go in a different direction. Tim Scott announces his exploratory committee to run for president. And I wanted to know what your thoughts are on the senator and the possibility of him winning that primary and becoming the president of the United States.
Well, I've met Tim Scott a number of times. I had the pleasure of sitting down for drinks with him or dinner, I guess maybe like afternoon tea or whatever it was we had in South Carolina some years back. Very smart man, very well-spoken. He came from nothing. Nobody can say he's some rich guy who grew up, in a yacht base, and that's not the case at all. He grew up poor, I think, with a single mom kind of household. So he's definitely somebody who's brought himself up from nothing and has succeeded as a congressman, as a senator. He got the Opportunity Zone legislation passed and signed into law, which is a wonderful thing, which has brought private investment into low-income neighborhoods. He also had an idea after the whole George Floyd fiasco to do something in the area of getting the police to focus on fighting crime and doing so in a way that was sensible and wouldn't hurt people. The Democrats voted that down. They filibustered it because they would rather have the issue than have solutions. But he did have a solution on that, which I wish that they had focused on and perhaps had given President Trump an opportunity to sign. So I think he's someone who brings a lot to the table. I don't know if he will be the nominee or not. I do think that if the nominee is either Donald J. Trump or Ron DeSantis, I think having Tim Scott on the ticket as vice president would be phenomenal. It will remove from the Democrats the ability to say, oh, the Republican Party is just a racist party, just a bunch of bigots, blah, blah, blah. A little hard to call a party a racist party when the person running for vice president is black. And I think you can take that message in a lot of places that a lot of Republicans have not been. Inner city areas, reaching out to black and minority voters, among others, and I think that could be a very, very positive thing, and that could be potentially the winning element in the ticket for 2024 for the GOP.
Deroy, I wonder what your thoughts are on the comparison between Joe Biden when he got the nomination, and he came out and he said he would have a woman of color be his vice president, and that was a very high priority for him at the time. If the Republicans were to pick Tim Scott, I can already hear the ladies on The View cackling about how they picked him to be a token. It's what the Democrats literally just did. Is it the same if Tim Scott were to be picked? And I just wonder what your thoughts are on that comparison.
Well, I love what the left does. If you pick a white person, then it's a lily white ticket. If you pick a black person, then it's a token. So they're never happy. There's never any way these people are satisfied. The GOP's an all-white party. Oh, my God, that's terrible. How racist. And then you point to people like Tim Scott, like Byron Donalds, like Condoleezza Rice.
Vivek Ramaswamy?
Vivek Ramaswamy, who's not black.
Nikki Haley?
Indian. Nikki Haley is also Indian background. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz are Hispanic background, et cetera. And, they're tokens. They're just tokens. So there's nothing you do to satisfy these people. You can't, unfortunately. So all you can do is put in talented people who actually have accomplished something on Capitol Hill, as have those people whose names I've just given you, as has Tim Scott with the Opportunity Zone program and other things he's introduced. And these are people of substance, people of accomplishment who, if Tim Scott ends up on the ticket, will have earned his spot there. And Kamala Harris, on paper, she was a U.S. Senator. She was Attorney General of California. I think those of us who thought that knew that she would be on the left never had any idea that she would get in and turn into this sort of cackling little girl who can't get their speech without bursting into giggles. I don't think anybody saw that. So she's proven herself to be much, much more of a lightweight than I think even her biggest critics and detractors had imagined back in 2020 when she was running for vice president. I don't think that's the case of Tim Scott. I think if he's vice president, he'll be able to do his job without bursting into nervous laughter every time somebody asks him a question.
We're speaking with Deroy Murdock right now. I mean, we just listed off people who are actually in the running to be the president of the United States on behalf of the Republican side of the ticket. And it's a very impressively diverse group of people. Nobody is celebrating that. In fact, we've heard each and every person who's done that be described as a token. So here's a question, Deroy. Do facts matter? Because you're talking about how, if we have a diverse group of people involved in this and it takes away their ability to insult it, of course they still will. If facts don't matter, how do Republicans win?
Well, you just have to repeat the facts. And when people say, this is a token or whatever, just attack them and say, this is garbage. How racist of you to attack someone like Tim Scott as a token when he was somebody who has been elected U.S. Senator from South Carolina, I think on 3 occasions. He was elected comfortably as a U.S. House member. He defeated in the GOP primary, by the way, I think the first time he ran for Senate, Strom Thurmond Jr., so the son of the white former Dixiecrat senator from South Carolina. He beat that guy. So if it's really a racist party, you'd think they'd put in the son of Strom Thurmond, who had a pretty, shall we say, problematic racial history going back to the 60s. No, they picked Tim Scott instead. And when he ran, I think he and Lindsey Graham were on the ticket simultaneously. Tim Scott more votes than Lindsey Graham did. So, these are the kind of facts you lay out, and you tell these people, shame on you for attacking this person on the basis of his skin color. That makes you a racist. People on the View, you a racist, whichever person MSNBC is spouting this sort of thing, and you just throw it right back down their throats as hard as possible, and don't sit there and turn the other cheek and apologize, which is what our side tends to do. I think we just need to be a lot more aggressive, and when people on the left engage in racism, just berate them for it. Simple as that.
So, Deroy, when you were looking at how this Republican primary is shaping up, and the question that Joe Biden was asked by Al Roker here over East, are you going to run again? And he said yes, but not yet. Is there an inevitable place that this 2024 election is heading, or do you think that it's still up in the air?
Oh, I think it's very, very much up in the air. We still don't know if Biden is going to run or not. Who knows what's going to happen with the various investigations and prosecutions and persecutions of Donald J. Trump if this whole business with Alvin Bragg will be thrown out on a motion to dismiss, which it should because it's so flimsy. That might discourage the prosecutors in Georgia and in this whole classified document case from moving forward. Or if this whole thing in New York goes on, and Trump ends up getting convicted, maybe that will encourage those other folks to go on. Who knows where this is going to go? I think you and I have learned one thing in our discussions over the last couple of years. Almost every Wednesday, everything's unpredictable. This Wednesday, we have no idea what's going to be happening next Wednesday. So it's a complete free for all, and who knows what happens in the next 6 months. 6 weeks, 6 days, or even 6 hours.
This is a long and raucous roller coaster ride for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Deroy, thank you. We appreciate you each time you come on with us. We look forward to having you back next week.
Likewise, Andy. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, Deroy Murdock on with us. We're going to take a quick break here. I got a lot of stories that I want to get to that I'm going to tell you what, I'm on a week-long vacation, spring break with my kids, still scrolling through stories, setting them aside. This one makes me laugh. This one would be funny to talk about. Let's get to some of them when we come back. Hannah, I need you back in here in the next segment, and we'll have a little group discussion. Your participation, of course, always welcome. Join us on the YouTube live stream. And if you are out and about and you're not having us on 97.1 on your radio, download the Odyssey app. Stream us anywhere you go. The whole station. All day. Every day. AUDACY. Download it. 97.1 FM Talk. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Hi, this is Terry Hall, host of the popular radio show for veterans, Vet Time in America. Sundays at 12 noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Our show is all about veterans. We talk with experts. We help you get benefits, how to get more, and what to do if you're not getting what you deserve. Tune in on Sunday at noon. Join the conversation. We take calls. Vet Time in America. Tune in this Sunday at noon on 97.1 FM Talk.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hello, I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. I'm so proud that we've helped over 15,000 businesses claim over $5 billion in cash incentives. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. Every client is assigned a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to accurately determine eligibility. Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google, and your business might be entitled to receive up to $26,000 per employee. Businesses of all types can qualify, including medical, professional, construction, even nonprofits. Please don't miss out on this. Even your doctor would tell you to get an expert second opinion, and we do a lot of work for doctors. Download the Innovation Refunds app now or go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of $26,000 per employee. Getrefunds.com. Getrefunds.com.
If you want to lose weight, I've got a great idea for you. Mark Cox here for my friends at Victory Men's Health. They're now offering FDA-approved semaglutide. They have tremendous results with this medication. The average patient loses 15% of their body weight. Men and women can get semaglutide from Victory Men's Health at any of their 3 locations. Be sure and book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Wednesday afternoon, we get a visit from Phil Bender, who's in charge of the Name, Image, and Likeness campaign for the University of Missouri Athletic Department. All the details coming up.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. Is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Gloria, they found you on the floor. Gloria, my hand was tied to yours. Gloria, did you finally see that enough is enough?
All right, this is a funny story. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This was something I came across. Let's see. It's just a couple days old. April 10th on Fox News. School district in Massachusetts. And if you guys cover this when I'm gone, please speak up so I don't embarrass myself because you've already gone over this.
So far, it doesn't sound like it.
A school district in Massachusetts. Sound familiar?
No.
Familiar? Anything? Mm-mm. No? Ladies? Gentlemen? No?
No.
Will host its first public meeting Monday since a superintendent candidate reportedly lost his job offer. So he was applying for a job. Did you talk about this?
I have heard this.
I have not. I haven't.
But we didn't talk about it on the air.
No.
I'm trying to think of.
How about I just tell the story?
Just go.
He applied for this job. He was offered the job.
Okay.
Dr. Vito Perrone previously told the Daily Hampshire Gazette that he was offered the position as the head of East Hampton Schools on March 23rd, but later notified that the job offer had been withdrawn over his choice of salutation in an email to negotiate his salary with school committee chair Cynthia Kwasinski and executive assistant Suzanne Colby. Both women. Kwasinski reportedly interpreted his ladies' greeting as a, say it with me now, microaggression.
Oh.
According to the newspaper, Kwasinski later told the Gazette that most of her fellow committee members believed it was extremely unprofessional and inappropriate of Perrone to address the chairperson, quote, with a familiarity that he had not yet learned. Quote from Kwasinski, "It is true that I was insulted by the familiarity with which the candidate addressed me and the committee's executive assistant in correspondence that was part of a salary negotiation. While I speak informally most of the time, if I am addressing a public official, especially in written communication, and even more so if engaged in salary negotiations, I would always use formal titles. The salutation, quote, ladies, raise concerns among most that the candidate might not or might make administrators and teachers feel uncomfortable if used in the future, instead of calling them by their names or titles." So the school was going to host at the time a committee meeting at 6 p.m. on Zoom. It began with up to 90 minutes for the public to speak, allotting up to 3 minutes per speaker. The agenda says the meeting will then transition into superintendent candidate discussion and or potential vote on whether or not to continue negotiations with the candidate. So he opens this letter because he had been offered this position. He opens the letter with addressing these two women as ladies. I think he said something like, "Hello, ladies," or something like that. And they took the job offer away.
He shouldn't work for them anyway. I feel sorry.
Is this a gift to him?
Works for them.
This is a gift to him because I think he can sue.
Why do you think
I don't know
sue?
about that, but
Because they made the offer and the offer was made and now they're it's not just that the offer was made and the offer was accepted and now they're attempting to retract it.
I don't know that
after
the offer
fact.
you don't accept an offer if you're still negotiating salary though. Right? I mean,
I don't know.
No.
I wouldn't.
No. No.
Don't do that.
I've been in contract negotiations and the accepting of the offer officially means that those things are determined.
I think this might be a blessing in disguise because I wouldn't want anybody to work for a place
I'm
like
a
that.
little
And
frustrated.
this is a school out of all places. Imagine what else happens at this school.
I'm a little frustrated that somebody is so easily spun up by quote unquote microaggressions. Like if you're
I think you were micro offended.
If there are no, I'm majorly offended now.
Not you, them. I think I mean you get offended by the littlest things.
I was gonna say if a microaggression, like in the way I understand it is microaggression isn't even an aggression that's intentional. It's just, accidental and small. And if you're gonna get all spun up about that, you've never really handled real aggression in your life. You've never had any sort of real aggression towards you. You've never worked in an oppressive workplace or anything like that. You just are looking for a reason to be offended. And that I don't understand how people are like that.
So what did they want to be referred
Said they had
to
a
as?
rally that was held in support of Perón. State Senator John Velas, a Democrat, also defended Perón. This appears to be an over-the-top and disproportionate response to something that, if nothing else, could have been used as a teachable moment.
Just a little bit.
And Velas, again, a Democrat, said enough is enough. So it was talking about these two women that were involved in this. Executive Assistant Suzanne Colby was one of the people who was represented as
a lady.
A lady. Someone calls me a lady, and I'm like, how dare you?
Microaggression. I've never even heard of that.
Colby, meanwhile, wrote a message on Facebook to, quote, clear my name and reputation. Quote, I am not an elected official of East Hampton. I am not a voting member of the school committee. I am, for the past 27 years, a proud and dedicated employee of East Hampton Public Schools. My name and title were used in an email for procedural purposes. I want to be clear, I am a lady. I appreciate being called such, and I appreciate being treated as such. To me, the word represents respect. I am not offended by the word or term. However, I am respectful to those who may be offended by the word or term. Lame. That's my addition. Those of you who know me know how important it is to me to be respectful of all individuals. Now I respectfully ask everyone to please refrain from further defaming my name, my reputation, my character for something I did not say, nor did I have a say in. Read that other lady, official, sir, ma'am, what do you do? What do you say? Is
Nothing.
nuts.
I can't say anything.
You could go and say, you could go to someone in a new professional experience and say ladies now, and it is a microaggression. Nothing is safe, which is why I go back to what I said in the beginning. I go back to what we were talking about yesterday when it comes to Dylan Mulvaney. And Brad pointed out that Dylan Mulvaney wants to be seen as a woman. He is a woman. Dylan is a woman in Dylan's eyes. Fine. I mean, you can live your life as a potato. Hannah, if you believe yourself to be a potato.
I can't believe we're having this
I
conversation.
don't care. Let me say this explicitly clear. That is a you thing.
Yeah.
It is not my job to explain to you and to everybody else that Hannah thinks she's a potato, but she's not really a potato. That's the second time I've whispered today. I promised
know.
before I wouldn't. I'm sorry.
I know.
Dang it.
Hannah isn't a potato, and we know that. Am I going to refer to you as Spuds McHannah? I don't know. Is that going to come out of my mouth? I care about you, so maybe I would. I don't really know how to express love and concern for somebody in the instance where they are self-identifying as a root vegetable.
Hannah, what are your potato pronouns?
Tot.
Tot and tot self.
Tot and tot self. Exactly. There you have it. You know,
there's someone out there right now that's offended by this conversation.
Call yourself out. Call tot self out. This is lunacy. This is not. Are you writing down the subject line for the podcast hour?
Yes, I am.
Tot and tot self. Subscribe to the Annie Frey Show podcast. It is not incumbent upon me to prove to the world that Hannah is having some identity conflicts.
My mom's listening, and right now she's like, "What is happening?"
Yeah. Mom, this is actually a totally true story. She told us this before the show, and I just thought we'd get it out there.
We have something to tell you, Mom.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a potato. Is it different? Is it different? You can't shake your head no on the radio,
No,
Brad. You have to speak.
It's not any different.
Can we still love, care, and respect for somebody in our life that we love?
Absolutely.
We can. Can Hannah still identify as a potato? She can.
Sure.
Does it need to affect the way I go about my life? It doesn't.
No.
Unless someone comes in and say, "Oh, Annie, sorry, but we're only letting potatoes host shows now." And I go, "Oh man, what are the odds? What are the odds here?" Quick Rick says he likes potatoes.
Thank you.
One of the things about this story that I find incredibly compelling is that this person made this huge hubbub about how we're rescinding this offer, and the other lady involved in here is like, "Nah."
Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
like easy now. I'm not offended by being called a lady. Just like we were talking yesterday about the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light thing, Hannah. The idea that there are women out there who are interested in sports, in the sports environment, in the what a lefty would call a frat boy kind of humor, that women wouldn't find that funny from time to time. Hannah's raising. Wait, you're shaking your head, Brad. Hannah's raising her hand, folks. Talk to the microphone. Use the microphone.
You were talking to Hannah, not to me. I was laughing at something else.
I'm entertained by that. I like frat boy humor. I would buy Bud Light's product if they kept going with what they always have. It's worked well for them. I don't think they should change it up.
Selling beer instead of selling virtue.
Virtue, yes. Sell beer, not virtue.
I got to find this.
I just made you $1 million.
$1 million. So here's a story on the Daily Caller that I came across last night. And it's from yesterday. Leaked social media pics from Bud Light ad exec who slammed fratty culture. Seems pretty fratty. So this is the Daily Caller report. The vice president of marketing at Bud Light, who recently said the company needs to update its, quote, fratty image and, quote, out-of-touch humor, can be seen partaking in the same behavior she seemed to be criticizing during a Harvard social club event. So I'm going to explain to you what's in these images here. Have you seen these pictures?
No.
They are, in one, she's drinking a Rolling Rock beer. Who makes Rolling Rock?
I don't know.
That's not AB. In the other one, she's seen either blowing up a condom or taking shots from it along with some other people.
Oh.
Next.
I mean, it looks pretty fratty to me.
This is not what our brand's about. This is what Rolling Rock does.
Yeah, maybe this is where she started laying the groundwork. First, what we're going to do is sabotage Rolling Rock. And then 20 years later, we're going to hire Dylan Mulvaney, who probably wasn't even alive at the time. Bud Light's marketing has been criticized in recent days. In late March, Heinerscheid appeared in a podcast where she promotes Bud Light's new direction in marketing and said the company needs to update its fratty image and change its out-of-touch humor. If you look at Barstool Sports,
I follow some of Barstool Sports things.
There are times where I think I follow Barstool. I follow Dave Portnoy. I am fascinated by what he has accomplished. And there are often times where he is saying what everybody is thinking in the most direct, unvarnished way. And it's like somebody had to say it. And then there are other times where I'm like, you are the biggest ass that I've ever seen or heard. And you are perpetually making that part of you be known. And he's got, if he heard me say it, he'd be like, yeah. I
He'd
know.
own it.
It's his brand. We don't have to agree or disagree with people 100% of the time. He's selling a lot of things. And that is, in my opinion, the epitome, like the gold medal of frat boy humor and so on and so forth. If Bud Light finds that this is profitable, then we will all have egg on our face. Do you have that story still? Like of the Bud Light, like Bud Light comes out with a Dylan Mulvaney can to celebrate Dylan Mulvaney's 365 days of girlhood. And what happened next?
So since the partnership with Mulvaney has taken over, they have their stock shares have seen a value fall and over $3 billion. So their stock value has dropped by $3 billion.
Is that a lot?
That seems like a lot.
Seems like a lot to me.
So their market cap on April 10th was $130.8 billion, and I can't see where it is now. Oh, 134 billion is where it was on March 31st. So on April 10th it was 130.8. On March 31st it was 134 billion. So they've lost almost $4 billion.
Jack Posobiec had just tweeted out recently, what if we just ignored Dylan Mulvaney? And I retweeted it and was like, what if we just didn't hear him talking about him? I wonder what people think about that. Any influencer that is out there, he's a TikTok influencer. I heard someone else today say he has 10 million followers or something. I know he's got a lot. Dylan, whatever. Does ignoring solve the problem? Does Dylan go away?
He might not completely vanish off the map, but this is definitely boosting his social media, and I don't really understand what he is promoting anyway. So nothing he's doing is drawing me to any product that he's promoting at all. I don't understand. If he's trying to market to women, it's at least not working for me because he's not a woman. We talked about this a ton yesterday. He's a transgender woman, but I think you can cater to that, but you can't cater for something that you're not. You can't cater or promote yourself as a woman when you're not a woman.
And you cannot define the people who don't agree with his reality. And then, you can make a judgment on them, but it would be incorrect. Is the solution here, Brad, to just stop talking about Dylan altogether? Other people are saying, replying to my Twitter, some people are saying, yes, absolutely, ignore him completely. And other people are saying, no, we need to call this out and talk about it all the time.
Well, so I looked up, he has 1.7 million followers.
Oh.
That's what his current
on
follower
TikTok?
count. Yeah. And what I'm wondering is like, of those 1.7 million followers, like in the scheme of things, that is a lot of people. Is that 1.7 million people who absolutely love everything that Dylan's doing, or is that some sort of blend? Like, what percentage of those are hate followers that just want to watch it and rage? Now, if that's a large percentage of people that want to watch it and rage, then yes, we should absolutely ignore Dylan Mulvaney. However, if we ignore it and those are like a large percentage of people that love what Dylan is doing, then we need to pay attention to it. We need to address that situation because that's a cultural issue.
I don't think we need to stay on it forever, though.
No.
Bud Light did their thing with him, her, however you want to refer to Dylan. And other companies are going to continue to do the same. And I don't think that we need to stay on it because we're just building more and more platforms for Dylan. I don't think we need to stay on it forever.
Plot twist. Rolling Rock is an AB product. I thought so. I'm not a beer culture kind of girl, but I'm married to a beer culture kind of guy. And I was thinking Rolling Rock might be in the AB family. And it's one of those things, Anheuser-Busch will acquire brands and stuff over the time, so whatever. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, more fun discussion on the Annie Frey Show, plus some pretty dramatic news. Joe Biden's documents, those classified, where were they found? Because I'll just preface it this way. Remember when they found the ones next to his Corvette? And he was saying they were in the locked garage. It's not like they were on the street or anything. Well, we'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group, along with Bob Kershaw and Tammy Kershaw, this family business right here located in St. Louis, is prepared to help you achieve the retirement of your dreams. You've worked very hard for it. You're in your mid to late 50s now, and you're thinking, good grief, I'm very close to this. Am I going to be able to do what I have planned to do? That worry-free retirement starts with a phone call to the Retirement Advisory Group. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Thomas Helbig is there to make sure that you are taken care of. He's going to walk you through how to have that worry-free retirement, and you are going to leave there with that exhale that you have always wanted to make sure that retirement is the dream that you expected it to be. When you sit down and have a conversation with them, free, doesn't cost you anything. You don't have any obligations when you leave. You can walk away, or you can say, no, I think this is exactly what we need. You're going to get a copy of his second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement, as well. Give him a call. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you sign up, 314-993-9494, online at retirementkey.com.
Are you a people person looking to change careers? If so, the Metro Transit team would like to talk to you. You may qualify for a special $2,000 signing bonus if you become a Metro bus operator, Metro caller ride operator, or a Metrolink traction power electrician. We will be conducting on-site interviews this Saturday, April 15th at the Illinois Metro bus facility. The address is 801 North 47th Street in East St. Louis. Metro Transit offers good health and retirement benefits, so stop by the hiring event Saturday. You could receive a job offer on the spot.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
Need to sell your home but not willing to play the wait and see game? Hey, it's Mark Cox here for Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. With Gloria, you have options, including a no-obligation cash offer from one of Gloria Lou's cash buyers. It's simple, it's straightforward, and in many cases, you can receive a cash offer in less than 24 hours. And you can even pick the closing date. With Gloria Lou and her cash offer program, you're always in control. Not ready for a cash offer? No problem. Gloria has a guaranteed sold program that states Gloria will sell your home at the agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy it guaranteed in writing. Call her today and ask about her no obligation cash offer program at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on price and possession date.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Warmer days are coming. Time to schedule your annual AC system check for as little as $15 a month. For any residential or commercial HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Mining for truth in a landscape of BS. 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. You guys did, when I was gone, the Barbie pictures or something on our social media, right?
Yes, we did. I made those.
How'd that go over? People like it?
People liked it. A lot of people, I think, were confused about it. It's a trend, the new Barbie movie's coming out, and it's a trend to make yourself into a Barbie poster and say what type of Barbie doll you would be. So I made them for the Annie Frey Show crew. I said, Annie is a Barbie doll who's a mother of a dozen kids. Brad is a Barbie doll, a Ken doll.
Ken doll.
Ken doll.
Hey, be whatever you want to be, Brad.
I want to be a Ken doll.
Okay.
Ken doll Brad would be doing donuts in the parking lot. Barbie doll Hannah would be doing pull-ups somewhere. Ken doll Wiggins would be a gummy bear connoisseur.
Sugar-free gummy bear connoisseur.
No backlash that I heard.
Good. I'm sure. Yeah, whatever.
It's just a joke.
It's a trend.
Yes.
Hannah is here to make us culturally relevant, folks, and I am here for it. You can follow us on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
Yep.
Hannah's Instagram is
at Hannah.Gibbs.
Hannah.Gibbs. And we're on Facebook. Of course, we're on YouTube. And she sends us this message, or maybe it was just to me. It's like, this is a viral trend right now. Can I make these for the show? I'm like, yeah, I don't know why not.
Yes.
But it's all promotion for, I mean, ours weren't. We're not getting any kickbacks from this. The Barbie movie is coming out. Are you familiar with this?
I'm not. I just know who's playing Barbie. That's it.
Do you know who's playing Ken?
I do not.
Oh, boy. The Barbie trailer is all over the internet, but people are coming down on Ryan Gosling, who is Ken.
Oh.
Do you want to know why? Because he looks too old.
Oh, really?
This is my Stifler's mom moment for Ryan Gosling. This is rough.
The Notebook guy?
The Notebook guy.
I hated that movie.
Why?
Oh, it's awful.
Why?
Because it's about a woman who cheats on her husband.
I don't remember it. Is it?
Okay. He does look a little old compared to Margot.
I know, it's awful. That's the worst part about it. They're right. In your mind, how old is Barbie? Does Barbie have an age? Barbie has to have an age.
I'm going to say Barbie's 25.
I thought you were going to say like 21 and 6 months, which would be your age. 25? How old's Barbie?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
Isn't she like
24,
82 years old or something now?
Yeah, something like that.
Early 20s?
Early 20s, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I guess she's probably college age, but I haven't really, well, Barbie has a career. Like they're career Barbies. So you can't be a teenager. That would be her little sister who...
Skip.
Dang it. Gosh, I had Skip. Thank you. Good Barbie trivia. For people who are going to a trivia night on Friday night are going to be like, I heard that on the Annie Frey Show.
Yep.
I mean, I would suppose that she would have to be... Because there's like Dr. Barbie. I had the Dr. Barbie set when I was a little girl. So she's got to be, like 32 and in massive amounts of debt. Very great doctor, though. Very successful doctor. I can see that whole kit in my head right now. I'm going to Google it on the next break. It was in a soft pink, like doctor's bag case, and it folded open, and it had a curtain that came out and a bed that went down and like some sort of like tool table or something. I don't know what it was on. I'm not a doctor. But Ken looks legitimately in his 40s.
Ken is 42. Margot Robbie is 32. Margot Robbie is the perfect Barbie, though.
Ryan Gosling is too old to be playing Ken. I'm sorry, his wrinkles are taking me out of this experience. That's what people are tweeting about it. I could see how Ryan Gosling 20 years ago would be a great Ken. But
wait, we messed up. It's not Skip. It's Skipper.
Skipper? Whatever. Skip is who Skipper really wanted to be.
Right. we really ran with that.
He does. He has the wrinkles between the eyebrows, which
The 11s.
Yeah. I'm just going to have to hold my face like this from now on. So just look perpetually surprised like everybody else. He has those wrinkles, and he is a very attractive man. I am A-okay with Ryan Gosling.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually would probably be more likely to go see this movie because he's in it. I'm not going to go see Barbie. But the fact that he's in it, I'm okay with Ryan Gosling being in anything. But it's just kind of funny that Barbie's got a 20-year, her senior Ken.
Yeah.
Is that... Maybe Ken is 20 years her senior. No? Do they go to school
really
together?
know. I don't really know. I hope this Barbie movie isn't woke. Probably will be.
How often do you go to the movies?
Well, now that it's like $15 a ticket, not as often, but probably once every 6 months I'll go. I like going to the movies.
What is required for you to see a movie in the theater? Like what kind of movie makes you go, I'm going to go to spend the $15 on this? Patrick says gold digger Barbie. Oh, come on. How do you know he's wealthy? She's the doctor.
Right.
And a debt.
I don't know. Something really has to catch my eye. If it's a sequel to a movie I really enjoyed before, I'll go. But I don't know. Barbie interests me. That was my whole childhood. I was a Barbie kid 1,000%.
There was a Barbie show on TV that was Gem and the Holograms. You familiar with this?
I know who that is.
Oh, man. Do you, Anna?
Mm-mm.
Gem and the Holograms.
Does she have a blue star around her eye or something like that?
Yeah, she's in a band. She's also like I don't know. Was she fighting crime? What was she doing?
It was kind of like Hannah Montana.
Oh, I don't know.
But
cartoon.
Different.
What makes you go to the movie theater? How often do you go?
I haven't gone. I used to go all the time. And like what would keep me going was like, for example, whenever Marvel was releasing the new movies, and I forget whatever phase it was, whenever they got to Endgame, though, then I was done. But what kept me going was a continued storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what the next one is. I want to see how this
and
plays
those
in.
are epic productions.
That is great movie production. But I haven't gone to a Marvel one since then because I don't care. So I've got to care about the product, or it's got to get good reviews about from the places that I look for reviews. I don't just go to like Siskel and Ebert or whoever, these Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. I don't look for reviews from there. I look for them from people that I trust on Twitter. Anyway, I look for movies that I know will either make me laugh, tell a good historical story, or just a good old-fashioned action flick like a Godzilla vs. Kong type movie.
Glenn Powell is the Val Kilmer of the new Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? I'm looking at it right now. Lieutenant Jake Hangman. Yes, he was Hangman in there. And he's the one who ends up... I'm going to give away the movie. Spoiler alert!
Much better Ken.
Yes. He would be a great Ken. He looks fake.
He does look fake. Very handsome.
Not in a bad way. Like, who was I saying about the other... Oh, Bill Melugin. So let's go into the nerdiness of what it means to be a talk news. Bill Melugin is doing a lot of hosting this week on Fox News because he previously had covered everything at the border. And he's got the most perfect hair. He just looks very, very well put together and perfect. And I said he would, if I were around him, I would feel like he was out prettying me. Hangman would make me feel that way.
He looks like a
Sim. Yeah, exactly. And then if you go back to Ryan Gosling looks like the bad boy that girls are like, I should help you. I want to help you. I want you to choose to be good because of me.
Oh,
barf.
That's triggering for me.
Yeah, it is? Okay, sorry. But I mean, like,
it's triggering that I said the word triggering.
Hold on. Are you in a loop? Do you need to get out of this? Do you need to, like, walk out in and out of the door 3 times to get out of this? I don't want you to be in, like, a whole vibe now. Just use the word vibe around Hannah when you see her. Like, oh, you got your headphones on. That's a whole vibe.
It's a whole vibe.
Why do you hate that word?
Triggering or vibe?
Either.
Triggering is used way too often, and it's very woke. Vibe, I don't like it.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we are going to have a fun 2:00 hour. We're going to get to...
We got another minute.
I know. I'm gonna talk us into it, and you're gonna put the music up, and then I'm gonna do some teasing coming into it, and then we will break in exactly 50 seconds from right now. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about that YouTube live chat poll. What is the biggest threat currently to the United States? Is it the economy? Are you looking at everything going around in your money situation on a federal scale, on a local scale? What about global threats? China, if you're looking at Ukraine and Russia, if you're looking at Iran, and if you're looking at the guy in charge on our end, Joe Biden, maybe those global threats seem a little more pertinent than the rest of them. Or culture degradation. We've talked a lot about that this week so far. That might be at the top of your list. Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and on the live broadcast and the live chat, leave us your vote. Hannah will highlight those comments at the end of the show. Stick around. Morning Frey Show right after this.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Do you hate standing on concrete floors because of foot, knee, or low back pain?
I couldn't stand on hard surfaces. The pain would get so severe that I couldn't stand it.
Tired of living in pain?
I wanted to take off my shoes as soon as I got home every day.
You need comfort in your life.
Now I have no foot pain and I can wear any dress shoe that I want.
Good Feet fits in all your shoes. Ladies, you can now be comfortable in your favorite high heels. Good Feet. No shots, no surgery, no medication.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations. On Olive, west of I-270 in the plaza with Subway, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
New details from a mass shooting. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. Body camera video from police officers involved in this week's deadly bank shooting in Louisville, Kentucky has been released.
This video really highlights what officials have been saying all week, that these officers ran into gunfire, risking their own lives to save others. Police say that still images from surveillance video inside the bank shows that after the 25-year-old gunman had shot his coworkers Monday morning, he went to the lobby area and essentially waited behind what's one-way glass to ambush police officers when they arrived. We know one officer, 26-year-old Nicholas Wilt, was shot in the head, and Officer Corey Galloway grazed. That's his partner. A couple of minutes later, still injured, Officer Galloway then takes the suspect out.
Fox's Garrett Tenney. And a Fox News alert, Justin Pearson, one of 2 Democratic Black Tennessee lawmakers expelled over gun reform protests, is heading back to the Capitol. The Memphis County Commission voting a short time ago to reinstate him to his elected office. The Nashville Metro Council voting earlier this week to reinstate Justin Jones, the other lawmaker expelled by the Republican-led House. Proposed emission standards could mean about 2/3 of all new passenger cars and trucks are electric-powered by 2032.
And 25% of new long-haul freight tractors could be EVs. President Biden is pushing for expanded access and affordability of electric and zero-emission vehicles, in addition to an increase in federal funding for EV manufacturing. The administration also approved tax credits for clean vehicles and is awarding billions of dollars in funding for battery manufacturing. Critics argue the plans will drive up the cost of vehicles for consumers.
Fox's Jared Halpern. E-cigarette maker Juul Labs will pay $462 million to 6 states over its marketing to young people. America is listening to Fox News.
I'd rather ride a bike with my kids than ride in an ambulance.
I'd rather have a catch with my dog Curtis than catch pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like heart disease, asthma, or diabetes, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20 pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Learn more at Prevnar20.com. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
No complaints with our top 10 weather. Continues this afternoon. Sunny skies, 78 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, beautiful for evening plans. Temperatures drop out of the 70s into the 60s. 49 for the overnight low. On Thursday, sunny skies, 79, 80 once again. Friday, partly sunny, 75. A couple of showers and thunder showers around Saturday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
An update from Illinois Family Institute, illinoisfamily.org. Abortion in Illinois is funded by taxpayers, and there are fresh legislative attacks against pregnancy care centers. But there are ways to counter that. Sidewalk counseling, communicating with lawmakers, and more.
Obviously, we need to pray. Nevertheless, what should be in the more? How about running for office? If you're not happy with the policies, then switch out the politicians.
Tom Morrison with BigTentIL.com served 12 years in the legislature. He's now recruiting candidates to run for office in the 2024 election.
Let's start moving the needle on the state of Illinois. Let's start getting us back to a more compassionate, sensible state.
Visit illinoisfamily.org for information about issues that impact life and sign up for IFI email updates at illinoisfamily.org.
AirComfortService.com. I was just reading about a friend who had an air conditioner go on the fritz. They turned it on. It didn't work. They have to replace it. If you find yourself in this position as spring sets in and the days continue to consistently get warmer and warmer, I want you to know about Air Comfort Service. As a customer of theirs myself, they have replaced my furnace, they've replaced my air conditioner, they've replaced my water heater, they have done an AeroSeal duct sealing on my house. I can attest to you each and every time having a top-notch level of service and respect for my home, for our budget, helping with rebates and great opportunities for 0% financing. Air Comfort Service is going to walk you through the whole process. And they even know, when I've talked to Corey, he gets it. When you got to call the HVAC people, that's never like a fun, exciting call. You're not going out and buying a new car, and at the end you spend a lot of money, but you get a new car. HVAC, not the most exciting thing. They treat that situation with the care and concern that is required. And at the end, you're going to say, I'm glad I had this experience with Air Comfort Service. 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. AirComfortService.com.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
When companies decide to take shortcuts, the safety of our families are at risk. At Underlaw, we find and expose those shortcuts.
Call Onderlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com.
You're listening to award-winning, thought-provoking talk. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Your home for conservative talk.
On the air for over 20 years.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We appreciate you being with us here. Beautiful Wednesday afternoon in St. Louis. There is nothing like this warm weather when you look at the 5-day forecast, and it is consistently somewhere between the 50s and the 70s.
Amazing.
I love it. You said, I think I was tuned in, I don't know if it was Monday or earlier than that. What's your perfect temperature?
78.
Mine's like 73.
86.
I could be with you on that.
86. Shorts, t-shirt, breeze is warm. You're in the sun. It's a little hot. 86. I love it. So we're not quite there for me yet. And there are lots of people who just want, ugh, no thank you. But anyway, if you're enjoying the afternoon here in St. Louis, we appreciate you sharing some of it with us. There is a news report that is coming out. Now, the president is in, of all of the things going on in the world right now, we are in a position where the president should be addressing different things. And guess what? He is in Northern Ireland. It's like, where is the obvious place that the president should be? Northern Ireland. There he is. Police in Northern Ireland are admitting to a, quote, security breach after a document reportedly containing details of officer deployments in the city of Belfast, where President Biden is visiting Wednesday, was found on the street. What is going on in the street, Brad?
This is so incompetent. Like, all of this, remember whenever they found the Trump documents and everybody was like, oh.
Hard to forget.
Oh, this is the worst thing ever. And this current president's administration is literally dropping documents that have the contents of which contain where troops are deployed in the streets of a foreign country.
I can't think of a worse thing.
The BBC is reporting that a member of the public called into one of its radio programs.
Oh, my God.
On Wednesday morning to say that they found the 5-page document. Which, can you imagine if the Annie Frey Show was on this hot take? The president comes to St. Louis, they're like, oh, here's some classified docs we found out on Tucker. Like, what is happening here? The BBC reporting that they had called into the radio program on Wednesday morning saying that he found the 5-page document, which he says is marked sensitive and has details such as road closures and police contact information on Tuesday night. According to the police service of Northern Ireland, we are aware of a security breach. He told them in a statement, adding that they believe the man found an operational order, which was information about officer deployments in Belfast. An investigation has commenced, and we have notified the senior information risk officer. We haven't dived into this, but the whole Pentagon Papers leak, Brian Kilmeade is all over this. So if you were listening to 97.1 throughout the day, he has definitely been on this, and we will cover it as well. Did you say tomorrow that we could talk to our heritage guest that's in for Hans about it?
I don't want to say yes because I'm not sure.
I'm interested in it, but that's one of those things that's above my pay grade, so I want to make sure we get the right person in here to discuss it. But what is going on with our information? Here's a question for you. Think about all of the instances where we've had gross incompetence under the brightest spotlight on the biggest display with this administration. Now remember that you have an incredibly vested apologist media covering it. These are the things that they couldn't squash down. What else have we not heard?
That's a great point. What else haven't we heard?
Think about the things that when Donald Trump was the president that they manufactured and they ran on. And I mean, like night after night after night, show after show after show. Rachel Maddow, she's got the tax returns. They're in her hands and it's a bombshell. Remember what came out of that story? What was the big thing that came out of Rachel Maddow getting the tax returns? I'll wait.
I believe it was Bernie Sanders paid more in taxes than Donald Trump did. Or no. Donald Trump paid more than Bernie Sanders did.
Here's what came out of it. Nothing. Nobody knows anything that came out of that story. Crickets. Chirp, chirp. It wasn't a big deal. I believe she went on like the Tonight Show and was like, listen, we wanted him. We got him. It wasn't what we thought it was going to be. And now people are still obsessed with his tax returns. Last night on Tucker Carlson, Donald Trump was talking about his tax returns. He referenced the fact, remember when he goes, I made a ton of money, and he starts using it as an opportunity to talk about how successful he's been. these people become obsessed with things that they know the end. They know where they're getting to. They just got to figure out what to put in place in order to get there. That's how you impeach a man twice on things that are manifested in the most, I'm not going to say it that way, dreams of the people on the left who want to see him be destroyed. They want nothing more than to have the head of Donald Trump dripping in the... Oh, wait, no, they did that. That was Kathy Griffin. She did that. That's the whole point. That's what they need. They need to see his demise. And Donald Trump is right. It's not because they hate him. It's because they hate you. If you agree with the things that he fights for, they really hate you. And they hate Donald Trump with the hottest, whitest fire of hate because he doesn't fight the way they can easily defeat. They have to manufacture around this man a perpetual cycle of what they would consider to be depravity, of the way he's selling state secrets. It all started before he was even the president of the United States. The whole Russia collusion hoax was to put in the minds of the American people that Donald Trump's interests were in his personal relationship with Vladimir Putin in Russia and not the American people. That was the bedrock for everything else that came afterwards. The idea that Donald Trump cares nothing about this country. He cares nothing about you. He only cares about himself, so much so that his interests lie in Russia. That was the bedrock for every single following detail, narrative, story that they could come up and manufacture. And what ends up happening is people go, well, he wasn't ever convicted of anything. That was all a lie. Yeah, but, what about the Stormy Daniels stuff? What about the Michael Cohen stuff? What about the Flynn stuff? There's just story after story after story. So there is a very dense cloud of doubt that is created around this man. And even if he was innocent from every single part of it, listen, up until just recently, last week, everything they threw at him, well, I'm rubber and Trump is glue or whatever. And I mean, it's just unbelievable to see how squeaky clean he has come out of all of these assaults on his character, on his person, on his history. They haven't gotten anything to land. Other than the fact that maybe in his past, he's led kind of a salacious style life. He was a womanizer. He was a philanderer. And he was a Democrat when he was all of those things. And they loved him. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton loved him. The pop culture industry loved him. The music industry loved him. The New York world loved him. His sin was becoming Republican. And now all of these things somehow matter. Not because he was a philanderer or not because he wasn't the moral standard of what humans should be, because it was okay with them when he called himself a Democrat. If he would have run on the platform that, Cuomo was running on, or somebody who had come out of New York who was a successful politician, if he would have had their ideals, they would have lauded him. They would have celebrated him. They would have elected him. It is imperative to understand that the cloud of doubt that is catered around Donald Trump is the intentional purpose for all of it. It's never the conviction. It's never the final Senate 2/3 majority vote that convicts the impeachment. They don't even care if it gets that long because they can still say they still got in their pocket the Trump card, no pun intended, twice impeached, now indicted. They take phone calls that he makes with Zelensky, their darling, and they talk about how the phone call was so bad. It wasn't bad. It actually fits into the context of everything that should matter right now, which is the ridiculous relationship that Joe Biden has had with Ukraine specifically, foreign countries, including China. These are things that are worthy of being looked into. They were being looked into. The FBI was investigating Hunter Biden while that impeachment was going on, but nobody was talking about it. Why? Because if Donald Trump asked a question of Zelensky about what Joe Biden or the Biden family was doing, then it was digging up dirt on a political opponent. Well, what do you call what the Biden administration and the Democrats who control New York, what is it that they're doing to Joe Biden's political opponent? in New York, in Georgia, in Mar-a-Lago. Where's the other one? There's another one. That is in New York. Take us right back to New York. Donald Trump, they repeated it over and over and over again in the Ukraine phone call impeachment that he was digging up dirt on a political opponent. That is what they're doing. So much so that Alvin Bragg is talking about mystery felonies. It's a game show to them. You could choose door number 4 and you might find out what the mystery felony is. But if they can get out of it with a perp walk, if they can get out of it with the idea that on the resume that they attach to the forehead of Donald Trump, along with impeachments and all of these other things, is indictments, they can win an election. That's all that matters to them. I think even Joe Biden could win an election against Donald Trump. I think that's the only person who he could beat. Is Donald Trump the only person who can go into the office of the presidency and get the change done that is necessary? That's what I hear from Trump supporters. I don't know that I buy that. I think he could be incredibly effective. But I'm not going to sit here and think right now, of course, it's in a primary. That makes a difference. You run differently in a primary. You pivot after the primary is over and you win it and you go into the general election. Can he pivot? Because if Donald Trump runs away winning the primary and getting the nomination and loses in 2024, we might lose our country. If Donald Trump wins the primary and wins the election in 2024, we could save our country. It's a big question of if. What are we willing to risk? If you put up Tim Scott announcing his exploratory campaign for running for the presidency, I mean, is Tim Scott going to be the nominee? I don't know. I think that everyone thinks it's Donald Trump's to lose. Is there an instance where a man like Tim Scott gets into the race and some things over the course of time? So much is going to happen, folks. So much. So many big, huge, massive stories are going to take place in the next 573 days where it's going to be all Trump. There's no way he can win. There's no way he can't win. There's no way he can lose. Over and over and over again. We're going to go up. We're going to go down. It's going to be a wild ride. Tim Scott gets in the race today. I love Tim Scott. I would be very happy. Put up a Democrat and Tim Scott. I'm voting Tim Scott every single day. I think most of you probably listening would as well. Listen to this message and compare it to the tone of the other ones out there.
When I fought back against their liberal agenda, they called me a prop, a token, because I disrupt their narrative. I threaten their control. They know the truth of my life disproves their lies. See, I was raised by a single mother in poverty. The spoons in our apartment were plastic, not silver. But we had faith. We put in the work, and we had an unwavering belief that we too could live the American dream. I know America is a land of opportunity, not a land of oppression. I know it because I've lived it. That's why it pains my soul to see the Biden liberals attacking every rung of the ladder that helped me climb.
That helped me climb. Tim Scott there talking about, he's a senator. His line when he was running for Senate one was something like from his family from the cotton fields to Congress or something like that, because his story in the United States of America is an incredible one. And it is an American story. There is struggle, there is strife, there is difficulty, and there is suffering, and there is massive success. It is an American story.
If the radical left gets their way, millions more families will be trapped in failing schools, crime-ridden neighborhoods, and crushing inflation. Not on my watch. This is personal to me. I will never back down in defense of the conservative values that make America exceptional. And that's why I'm announcing my exploratory committee for president.
I love how when you are going to run for president, you get to make like 10 announcements leading up to the announcement that you make that you're running for president. I'm excited that he's in it. I think that the Republican Party is strong, and I think that everything about the Republican Party exists under the Donald Trump umbrella right now. Donald Trump is the obstacle or the asset, depending on how you look at it, to getting that nomination. Everything has to go through Donald Trump, and they can indict him, they can charge him, they can impeach him. It seems like it makes him stronger, in his circle, will that manifest itself into an election in a general against a Democrat where people show up and say, we're going to give Donald Trump another try? I'm not 100% sure that that's the case right now. Oh, man, it's going to be crazy to cover, though. We'll always have it right here on 97.1. The YouTube live chat poll, what is the biggest threat currently to the United States of America? We need your votes before we wrap it up. In the 2:45 segment, is it the economy? Is it global threats? Is it the culture? Or is it something else? You'll leave your comment in the live chat, and we will highlight those with Hannah at 2:45. Stick around. More Frey Show in a minute.
Cause I'm so consumed, spending all my nights reading texts from you.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
You know that I hate to admit it, but everything means nothing if I can't have you.
Let's talk about STS Armory. This is where I go to purchase firearms to get answers to my questions as an Illinois conceal and carry licensed individual. I've gone through the classes and the schooling. It is rigorous and it is required in the state of Illinois. I encourage you to go to STS Armory to take this class and have the very best teaching you, educating you, helping you gain that confidence that you will need, the understanding, the knowledge, if you want to be someone who conceals and carries in the state of Illinois. If you are looking to make a new purchase and you know exactly what you know exactly what you've been looking for, or if you're thinking, this is what I'm trying to, this maybe specific need, hunting, maybe you've got some land and you need to make sure that you're protecting your land, the coyotes might be around, whatever the case is for you, you go to STS Armory, you talk to them about your circumstance, and they put you in the direction of something that can help you solve those needs. STS Armory is reliable, they're trustworthy, and they're super easy to get to. They're on Pontoon Beach in the corner of Highway 111 and South Drive. Simple to get to from 270. It's where I go. It's where my family goes. I hope you'll give them a try. STS-armory.com.
Odyssey's I'm Listening is our commitment to more mental health conversations. Dr. Ursula Whiteside talks about the toll relationships take on our mental health.
You actually have control over that. There's going to be some amount that no matter what, you're going to be in pain and have to go through. But if you let your brain spend all the time thinking about how great they were and how perfect and all that prevents you from moving through this and having a new life.
Talk saves lives. For more mental health conversations, visit imlistening.org.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lance.drurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Who will dare to find a new way to think about energy? One that connects our lives like never before and creates a world where we can breathe easy. NewScale dared by making 24/7 carbon-free energy a reality with our Voyager SMR power plants. Let's see how bright the future can be when cleaner, safer energy is available to all. NewScale. Power to the world. Power for all humankind. Discover the future of energy at newscalepower.com.
Play ball!
Step up to the plate by donating your old car to Goodwill and get 4 box seats to a Cardinal game. Your car donation to Goodwill will help people right here in St. Louis. Donating is easy, towing is free, and you get a tax receipt. Plus, you'll get Cardinal tickets, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. Donate online at mersgoodwill.com. Must mention promo code Cardinals. Hurry while supplies last.
If you use a smart speaker, you can listen to 97.1 easier than ever. Just tell it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app for your phone and stream the station whenever, wherever. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
First touch of summer, she's got your t-shirt on. Sun's going down, school's out, stars are coming on. You can rewind it, but you can't ever feel like you do tonight. Make a movie in your mind, but don't rush it. Boy, you're about to see the light. So hang on.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Washington Examiner has an article out. Biden enlists hundreds of social media influencers for upcoming re-election bid. I really do believe that the future of the Democratic Party rests in the ability to turn out young voters, Hannah. You. They want you. They want you.
I know they do.
Does anybody in your social circle, do the people who are your age, your peers, do they pay any attention to anything that has to do with politics outside of an election?
Outside of an election, I would say no. I feel like recently, since my friends are aware that I work for 97.1 and my political stance, they'll send me a couple things and be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea about this. And
what kind of things?
More like they will send me things like clips of Biden and say, like, I didn't realize he was this bad. I'm like, guys.
Well, it's because they're not paying attention.
No, they're not paying attention. But I really do think that if Republicans tried harder, they could easily achieve the young vote.
How? Where?
They need to speak on their policies more. Or get, like, candidates need to come out. I feel like young people, when they think of the Republican Party, they only think of Trump because Trump is so out there all the time. That's the only face that's being shown to people. He's the only thing that's in the media. Other faces for the Republican Party need to be out there. Like, I have never heard of Tim Scott until now.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's great. The more I look into it,
he's great.
I'm really, really impressed. He somehow needs to break into and tap into the younger audience, and he could get votes.
You take Trump out of this equation, and what the Republican Party is looking at as far as possibilities of where the Republican Party now goes through with all of these different candidates. So much talent. You've got Tim Scott, who announced his exploratory presidential bid, which is different than announcing he's running for president. Nikki Haley is a very strong woman. She's a governor. She was the ambassador to the UN. And it's funny because still going, this Mike Pompeo book is really long. It's really interesting, though. So I think I'm listening to it at 1.5 speed, and it has, I think, 7 hours still left on it. And I think I've been listening to it for, I don't know, weeks, maybe a month. But it's very interesting, very intriguing. Mike Pompeo has great experience as being in Congress. He was the director of the CIA. He was the Secretary of State in Donald Trump's administration. I think he said in his book one time he was the only person who was a member of President Trump's cabinet that started and ended.
Wow.
Didn't get let go. Didn't get replaced. He's a possibility to potentially run. Asa Hutchinson ran. He's like a moderate centrist, but another addition to broadening the spectrum of who the Republican Party represents. Here, Chris Christie's looking again. It's like the meme on the internet. It's like absolutely no one, and Chris Christie's like, I'll run for president. I don't know. Chris Christie has a really great way about him, and I really adored Chris Christie when he was the governor of New Jersey because I felt like it gave me hope that Illinois could have something that maybe Chris Christie isn't the governor that Missourians want, but in Illinois, a Chris Christie as the governor of the state of Illinois, like, be still my heart. I can't imagine how dramatically that would change the state of Illinois. There's just a lot of potential in the Republican Party, and it is Trump's nomination to lose. It just is. I think it's in the realm of possibility that he would lose it. I don't think it's likely.
Hannah, I think it's important that you brought up that the importance that people your age don't understand who is out there because all they get to see is Trump. And the really important thing to notice about that is who is putting Trump out there and how they get to frame who Trump is and by proxy frame who the Republican Party is. So that's all controlled by the media. It's what we were talking about the last segment, how they can just put this person in front of you and say, look at how bad this person is. And that's some of the only exposure. I'm with you 100%. They have to get out in front of Gen Z. They have to present and make their case. But here's the other side of that. They have to meet Gen Z where Gen Z is at. They got to go to Gen Z. And Gen Z is on TikTok. Gen Z is on Snapchat. Gen Z is on, Instagram. If you don't have a social media game, you don't have anything when it comes to reaching Gen Z.
That's how Donald Trump got elected in 2016, because he was all over Facebook, and that's why so much censorship came to that. Anyway, back to the article that I was talking about in the Washington Examiner. President Joe Biden is going to be relying heavily on the power of social media, with an emphasis on mobilizing young voters in his still unannounced re-election bid. We're trying to reach young people, but also moms who use different platforms to get information, and climate activists and people whose main way of getting information is digital, according to Jen O'Malley, who's the White House Deputy Chief of Staff. These influencers across platforms such as TikTok, which has notably come under severe scrutiny in Congress, Instagram, and Twitter, will praise Biden's accomplishments and agenda to their followers. However, they won't be getting paid. There are 4 digital staffers devoted to working with social media creators. They are officially employees of the White House. Rob Flaherty, who is currently the assistant to the president and director of digital strategy, is said to be leading this effort. This is interesting to me because I have been saying here on the air and also on my social media how I want disclosure. When anybody is receiving anything monetarily or in trade to endorse a product, I want to know that. That doesn't mean that if you are touting the great things that Joe Biden has done, that A, you're lying, or that B, those things are inherently untrue because you were receiving compensation for it. But I want to know if anybody is taking money or goods being provided to them by a campaign to socially influence people on social media, on the Democrat side and definitely on the Republican side. More from the Washington Examiner. They were actually very responsive to it. This comes as there are active pushes in both chambers of commerce to restrict TikTok, which is owned by the Chinese company ByteDance. I don't care if people are tapped to influence on social media for political campaigns. I agree with both of you. You can't not do it. In fact, it's more good grief. Stop with the incessant paper ads in my mailbox. Mm-hmm. I don't pay attention to any of them. I know that if it's a black and white picture of the candidate, that they're the bad guy. And I turn it over and your candidate has a golden retriever in a field with some children, and it's like the good on this side, color side, good, black and white side, bad. Got it. Recycle. Social media, invest in that. If you want to pay influencers who believe in your product, I'm compensated to endorse products, but I am a user or a client, or you participate in, like I talk about prevent sprained socks. I don't do specific activities in my life anymore without those socks on, because prevent sprained socks are what I need to continue to stay active. I am compensated by them, but I'm a user of them. So I'm not lying to people when I say that you should get these socks because I think they're great, because I really do.
I don't think that Ron DeSantis needs to be out there doing, TikTok dances to tap into the younger audience. I don't think he needs to, candidates don't need to go that far to get into social media. But that Tim Scott ad we just heard, post that on Instagram somewhere and have it, generate to people. And they're like, okay, wow, this Republican doesn't seem so extreme or so crazy or so out there. I would rather hear that than...
There's a super fine line also. There's a difference between the candidate themselves doing it and if Ron DeSantis knew that I was a fan of his and they came to me and they said, Annie, we want you to be a social influencer for Ron DeSantis. If I didn't have this radio show, that would be something I could consider. I'm not going to take any money from any candidate to influence you for your vote because of what I do for a living. There are a lot of people whose job it is to influence based on their social media presence. Dylan Mulvaney makes his money by being a social media influencer. I have no problem with him doing that. Good on him. I think that there is a generational divide on people who take that seriously. It is real. It is effective. People are talking about Bud Light a lot right now. People are definitely talking a lot about Dylan Mulvaney right now. But if somebody is going to be compensated in that way, I want to know about it. And when people, if a candidate goes out and tries to be relevant to the kids, that's a very, very treacherous line to walk. I'm thinking of one Hillary Clinton on The Breakfast Club talking about her everyday hot sauce in her bag. And they're like, you have hot sauce in your bag right now? She's like, oh, yeah. Like, oh, my gosh. Who told you to say that? Who said that was a good idea? But the idea of people trying to put themselves out there like they're super relatable, not so much. But what are the issues that affect you, Hannah, at 21 years old as a voter that Tim Scott can articulate to you, or that some people who are influential to you that agree with Tim Scott, how do they get into that space? And because you're going to have to reach people who are young, you're going to have to, first and foremost, likely change their minds. I don't think unless your parents are hardcore about it and it's talked about a lot in your house, it's almost default to be young and liberal. It just seems probably cooler is the right way. It used to be cooler. I think now it's even more like the idea of they've done such a good job of defining what it means to not be liberal, to be conservative. Being conservative is like the bad thing, so you default to the liberal thing. But that's because you don't understand what conservatism is. How did they get that message out?
I don't know that I have the exact solution, but really getting out there, local elections, I think, help too. Having your candidates be just approachable and asking questions and getting away from hate and backlash. I think the Democrats could lose votes because I feel like all they do is just mudsling to the right so much. I personally don't want the chaos. Like, when I heard Tim Scott's thing, I'm like, wow, he just wants to be like, embrace American values. I think that is so appealing. There's so much going on, so much chaos that will sell. Just like normal American value life will sell. Put it out there more. Get more people to know about it. Less hate on social media. Be more approachable.
Brad, TikTok is trying to be banned by a lot of Republicans in Congress, but that's one of the biggest battlefields to reach young people. And the left uses that and exploits it in all the ways that you're supposed to reach people in politics. Should Republicans be using TikTok to reach young people?
Well, absolutely, because that's where they're at. I know the whole
China
thing.
too.
Yeah. If you could get young people off of TikTok and onto a different platform, which would be the ideal thing, that would be great because of the damage that the app itself does and the Chinese influence. But
is it hypocritical though for Republicans to be on TikTok trying to influence people?
I think it is.
I don't know.
I do think that it's a huge platform that would be nice to use, but they're going against their own message.
Yeah, but you still have to get your message out there.
Instagram, Twitter,
Hannah.Gibbs.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. They have to hit those, but you can't not hit TikTok just because.
If your message is good enough, I think you can use it enough on other platforms.
What percentage of your time do you think you spend, being Gen Z, do you spend split between TikTok and Instagram?
I use Instagram a lot more. I use TikTok maybe 30 minutes a day, and I use Instagram, Facebook, probably
all the other minutes.
Yeah, all the other minutes.
All the other minutes. What do you think that breakdown is among your friends?
They probably use TikTok, I would say equally.
So, I mean, idealistically,
if I'm on TikTok, I'm not going there for information. I'm going there for like carefree videos.
Okay.
If I'm going somewhere for information, I'm going to Instagram.
What if somebody slips information into your distraction?
I was going to say, do you come across Democratic TikToks?
No, thankfully not.
Yeah, you do. It's just not. It's. I mean, what influencers out there are selling right now, like culturally, I would say. I mean, I understand why you're saying no. Like, you don't have people being like, a Democratic platform is blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah,
I'm
blah.
not having Democratic politicians pop up on my For You page. Am I having woke things come up on my For You page? Absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying.
That's everywhere.
That subsidizes the Dem agenda. So should Republicans be in there to stir things? I mean, I'm asking all these questions. I don't really know the answer to it because I think I don't use TikTok. I don't have TikTok. I've never had TikTok. And I don't condone the usage of TikTok. Do you have to go and do some dirty things in order to try to get elected? And for Republicans, that means being on TikTok? I don't know. Maybe it does.
I think you have to fight where the battle is.
I think that's tomorrow's poll.
That's a good poll question.
Did you get back? Did you hear back from Emily Compagno?
I have not.
Well, I'm excited tomorrow. So this is exciting for me. Thursday at 1:25 p.m. Emily Compagno is going to join us, and we're going to ask her about the justice system, Kim Gardner, 2023, and the way justice fits in this climate, and also the organization she works with, Blue Lives Matter NYC. So I'm looking forward to having her. She's never been on the show before. So Emily Compagno Thursday at 1:25 p.m. here on the Annie Frey Show. I'm excited to have that conversation. But I just think about, the idea of Blue Lives Matter or Black Lives Matter. If you have imagery on a TikTok video that has political, there are virtues that can be signaled that lend towards democratic lean. Mm-hmm. And every time you see those, it becomes more and more common. And the more common it seems, the more natural it seems. And the more natural it seems, the more somebody who is less informed about what is actually going on in the world might not question as much what is considered normal.
I agree.
But I don't know. That's tomorrow's that's it. That's tomorrow's poll. Writing that down right now. Should Republicans be campaigning on TikTok? Yes or no? Let's take a quick break. We'll get the results to today's YouTube live chat poll when we come back. Some more comments from you as well. So hustle on over to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and tell us why you voted the way you did. What is the biggest threat currently to the United States? Is it economic? Is it global threats? Is it culture degradation? Or is it something else? You can leave that in the comments and Hannah will read them when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
You can look back over your shoulder, yeah, but don't look too long. It takes time to realize that your life's gonna pass you by, so hang on to the light.
Let's talk about building homes in the state of Illinois. CAJonesInc.com. You go to CAJonesInc.com and you start seeing some of the beautiful houses that they have for sale. Builds, brand new builds. No one's ever lived there before. Maybe it's your new home. If you go to CAJonesInc.com, you can see the inventory, brand new builds that they have readily available to you. Now, you can also build a home through CA Jones and use the Design Your Home tool right there on the top of their website. And you'll quickly see why so many people go with CA Jones to choose their next home builder. They provide many options of buildable plans with modern features at an affordable cost. They work very hard to support the communities that they build in as well. They are proud of their support for military, for first responders. They offer veterans, active, and first responder specials as well on new homes, solar, and remodels. CAJonesInc.com is the website, improving lives through quality homes and community involvement. I'm very happy to be associated with them and proud of the work that they do in the community and hope that you'll consider them for your home build. CAJonesInc.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
Diamonds Direct is making it easier than ever to design your dream ring at your dream payment. Announcing all new aggressive financing options up to 60 months. These new creative plans allow you to pick your payment so you don't have to compromise on that engagement ring. We know that just like that ideal engagement ring, one size doesn't fit all. You want choices, alternatives, options, and as always, we want to empower you every step of the way. Diamonds Direct's multitude of finance options now allow you to spread your payments up to 5 years. Pay nothing down or pay a lot down. You decide. Get a $400 a month payment or a $200 a month payment. It's your choice, so you can get the most beautiful engagement ring and have money left over for other fun things like a tropical honeymoon or decorating the house. And by the way, it's not just for engagement rings. You can use these flexible financing options for wedding bands, designer jewelry, gifts for any occasions. At Diamonds Direct, we're always finding ways to help you make your money go farther. Your love, our passion. Get directions, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
If you love eating out, let me introduce you to Satchmo's Bar and Grill. Mark Cox here from my friends at Satchmo's. They have daily lunch and dinner specials. They're a from-scratch kitchen with food and cocktails, and they have weekly specials. Wagyu meatloaf on Monday nights, steak night on Wednesdays, burger night for just $6.95 on Thursdays, and plenty of flat screen TVs to catch the big game. Check them out on Facebook or online at satchmosgrill.com at Olive in 141.
Are you a people person looking to change careers? If so, the Metro Transit team would like to talk to you. You may qualify for a special $2,000 signing bonus if you become a Metro bus operator, Metro caller ride operator, or a Metrolink traction power electrician. We will be conducting on-site interviews this Saturday, April 15th at the Illinois Metro bus facility. The address is 801 North 47th Street in East St. Louis. Metro Transit offers good health and retirement benefits, so stop by the hiring event Saturday. You could receive a job offer on the spot.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Phil Holloway is Fox News legal analyst.
In Europe, it's almost like COVID is not even a thing. I saw an occasional mask, but nobody was very interested in COVID at all.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I hold on so nervously to me and my drink. I wish it was cool in me.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We talked at the beginning of the show about Elon Musk and his interview with this BBC reporter who was like, hey, you want to get together tonight and have an interview? And Elon Musk was like, sure, let's do it. And then the interviewer left because he just ran out of questions. This is really kind of the summation of it. It's very funny. Elon Musk tweeted out recently here, this is within the last hour, Bobby Allen sends him an email and he screenshot it and he tweeted this out. Because of the label, NPR is quitting Twitter across all of our 50-plus accounts. Our executives say the government-funded media label calls into question our editorial independence and undermines our credibility. Some wonder if this will cause a chain reaction among news orgs. What's your reaction? And he replies in a tweet, defund NPR. I can't get enough Elon Musk. He's the man. I love it. I think I probably in my mind need to separate him more from Tony Stark.
Oh, wow.
That would probably be a healthy thing to do.
I love Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark. Love, 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 love. And I think that's kind of funny, too, because, Hannah, when we talk about Bud Light's marketing director talking about, like, getting away from this toxic culture and this fratty boy thing, I mean, who's more arrogant than Tony Stark? Robert Downey Jr., like, his whole character. But he is so lovable and attractive to females everywhere. It works.
Does work.
It doesn't, just, I don't know, confident, arrogant, confident, whatever. But Elon Musk out there screenshotting this email saying that ends in, what's your reaction? And his response is, defund NPR. I'm all about it. Let's do it. Make it so. What do you make of this, Brad? The push for Elon Musk's state-funded media labels?
So I look at NPR's complaint. Their complaint is that it casts doubt on their ability to prove that they have, neutral journalism and whatnot. And my thing is this. What is it that Elon Musk and Twitter put on their Twitter profile that was not true? NPR is state-funded. It gets money from the government. That's where it comes from. And they look at that and they say, well, that's an insult to us. It's like, but it's true. I don't understand.
Why is it an insult, too? Like,
yeah. that's the other side. Why does that insult
Why
you?
does this hurt you? Why are you crying?
And I would actually go as far to say that people already had that doubt about you. If you thought that these little gray letters underneath your Twitter profile that is making people not trust you as a news source, you've already lost the plot because people didn't trust you before that.
My request for people who are being compensated to influence on social media on behalf of campaigns is the exact same reason why I think it's good to say the information coming out of this account, be it NPR or another state-funded media, the information coming out of this account is paid for by the United States government.
That seems fair.
What about let's kind of same lane, different vehicle. When the NFL, when it was released that the NFL was being paid by the Department of Defense to be like uber patriotic, people stopped liking it because they didn't like that the taxpayer dollar was used in an NFL business relationship to rah-rah America. So people on the left got bent out of shape about that because the taxpayer dollars were being used in a public space to promote something that they couldn't get behind. How is it different than NPR? It's the same. You can't argue with that. Hannah, I'm sorry if I ruined the vibe.
That's not the vibe for sure.
Did I trigger you? She's going to leave. She can take her headphones off.
I know. That's
what she's going to do.
Exactly what I was
like, I know how to
not the vibe.
I know how to turn this show off. I'm going to take my headphones off. The YouTube live chat poll?
Today's YouTube live chat poll is asking, what is the biggest threat currently to the USA? Economic collapse, global threats, the culture, or something else? Mark Reed on Facebook says that with an economic collapse, everything else will follow. Larry from YouTube says, my vote was for the economic collapse, but the real threat is Joe Biden. He is the cause of all of the chaos. Todd says national security and the economy. Todd. National security and the economy are neck and neck. Keith from YouTube says, if our nation can get its culture back on track, we would be unstoppable. The rest will fall into place.
How long do you think that takes?
To get everything back on track? Oh, geez. Economically speaking, I think you could have...
No. Culture.
Culture? Oh, gosh. That's years. That's
you
years.
Think?
Oh, yeah.
It's generations.
Yeah.
Really?
It took generations to get where we're at. They didn't go from, what was it? Archie Bunker, June Cleaver to Dylan Mulvaney over the course of
Archie Bunker's maybe not the best example.
Archie Bunker's not a good example. June Cleaver's a good example.
We've outgrown Archie Bunker.
If you think back to Leave It to Beaver, husband and wife, even in I Love Lucy,
sleeping in separate beds.
They slept in separate beds on TV. To Dylan Mulvaney. That's the reaction. That's generational, and it wasn't, it was just a step and a little step and a little step and a little step and a little step, because each generation wants to push it a little bit farther, and you've got to somehow or another make it countercultural.
That doesn't make me hopeful. Okay, what is the biggest threat currently to the country? Economic collapse, global threats, the culture, or something else? With over 195 votes, 41% of the people said that the culture is the biggest threat to our country. 41%. 28% of the people said our economy is the biggest threat to our country. 16% of the people said that global threats are, and 15% of the people voted that something else is the biggest threat currently.
I don't think I ever answered this, and I actually think that the biggest threat currently to the United States is global threats. I feel like there is a window of opportunity for people who see that window potentially closing in the world to take advantage of this moment in time for the United States, and that makes me very nervous. The culture is the largest issue perpetually. Scooter says, on 9/11, we turned on a dime. Same with December 7th, 1941. It happens. I really don't want to have the third most catastrophic event in our nation's history have to happen. And I honestly think that he's right about how it can snap the culture back to a place of agreement immediately. But it almost feels like after 9/11, when people got tired of that, it went even farther away than further. I just said it wrong myself. Even further away than than it had been previously. Thanks for listening to us today. Please subscribe to us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel and download that Odyssey app. If you're streaming us right now, you can rewind to the beginning of the show, hear anything you missed, or just leave it right where it is because the Mark Reardon Show is coming up next.
Hello, I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. I'm so proud that we've helped over 15,000 businesses claim over $5 billion in cash incentives. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. Every client is assigned a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to accurately determine eligibility. Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star reviews on